My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com.
Alrighty, it is 2:04 a.m. I just want to document with regard to what I'm capturing in still images. First of all, the entity is stalking by the people at all times. This is the entity that is monitoring documentation. And so the entity is engaging in what is walking over and standing over me repeatedly. And this is a Latino male who was on a scooter. He's crossing path and he's standing over me, and I turn around and he's already standing there, first of all. So he's a creeper. This is a demon also. And this is monitoring a conduct as well. But I'm speaking to and highlighting what is a stalking conduct by the people of the state who are stalking where it is that I sleep. And stalking on behalf of the state who was stalking by helicopters, okay? And doing so with the entity that's stalking by airplanes and law enforcement, the whole entire pattern of conduct underway while this demon is standing over me. And so I want to I capture that. You're also looking at the light activity while this demon scoots away. You have a minion that was already over here. It's currently 2:05 a.m. And you have a minion that's stalking and just walks up and says, "Do you have any papers?" And I turn around a couple seconds later, the minion is gone. So it's been a period of time. You're talking about what is remaining standing over me. And this is afterwards. This minion was not standing here, remaining standing over me, and then returns again just to repeat the same statement. This is stalking. By the way, this is the same entity that's the people of the state. These are the demons who are stalking in the bathroom. These are the demons who are stalking while I'm on the bus and directed light is all over the roof. These are the demons who are sitting in the county building with directed light on the ceiling while they're stalking. This is the demons that are sitting in the California Department of Motor Vehicles with light on the ceiling and on the wall and a fake sun over the building, over all of those venues where I'm documenting the P.O.C. And this is the same entity, the people of the state who are stalking where it is I sleep. Okay, and I want to document that. It's currently 2:06 a.m. and that's captured in still images. This is P.O.C. This is Union Pacific, the people of the state, group stalking. This is an indirected light. It's audible activity. And that volume vacillates. It is 2:07 a.m. ZNC 116. It is 8:30 a.m. It's Saturday, April 9th, 2022. And I am currently standing at what is the bus stop at the B&G Plaza. That's on Holt Boulevard in between Plum Avenue and Sultana Avenue. And the light source is, again, while I'm in Ontario, it is not on Sierra Avenue, which is necessarily the case for that light source that I captured at 8:26 in the morning, just the other day when I was in Fontana already, 6SOE 906. And the light source, while you're looking at what is impossible light activity, that's all inside of that bus that I'm on, Route 61, that's going eastbound, that's on Sierra Avenue, while that video is showing how the bus is being driven northbound on Sierra Avenue, headed toward the Fontana Metro train station, while I am at, the video begins at Sierra Avenue and Marigold, and proceeds for a period of time up, going north up Sierra, and you're looking at that light activity. showing you what are the demons that are the people of the state, showing you what is an indiscriminate system that's ceaselessly underway, speaking to every single demon that I'm encountering and I continuously document, who are also stalking day and night, as I document as well. Those same demons aim and direct light on that bus, where that light source is over Sierra Avenue. It's not remaining over the B&G Plaza. It's not visible over B&G Plaza. It's not the light source, which is supposed to be some kind of sun, the sun that you're not supposed to question, the sun that's part of this natural environment, that's hovering over Shiro's Liquor, but at the same time, it's over me through the window while the bus is in motion with that light activity. Yeah, that's not the sun. This is P.O.C. And it's 8:32 a.m., 8 UMD 684, 7 PVL 670, 8 VCW 666, 90336D3, 8 NDN 888, but then of course you know that that's not sunlight. That is also spewing backwards while people, all right, and like I said, these aren't people, these are demons, all right? They are their condition. They're not normal people. They're stalking. They're engaging in terrorism. They are their conduct, what they're doing. That's what they are. They're not normal people, and this is criminal conduct, and it's demonic activity. And that's why they also have what is not sunlight coming backwards toward me while they're stalking under a light source that's not the sun. 6NEU 883. Right, just like you saw as I was in Upland, California, the same location where I'm at 9:35 in the morning, which during daylight savings time is 10:35 in the morning. But yesterday while I'm there at 7:50 in the morning, daylight savings time, you see that light source and you see that same exact demonic conduct, impossible light, the very evidence with which I'm going to create what is legislation for prosecution of terrorism while the government places you under surveillance. The very evidence that's going to be used for the prosecution of what is a perpetual sex offender while the government places you under surveillance and molests your body, violates your person, while touching you with that engineered light, which is never naturally occurring. That evidence, that's what these minions are doing. License 8VYN775. It is 8:33 a.m. and as I stated, I remain at B&G Plaza where the people of the state are stalking. 14682G3, 4VBR038, 01485J3, 8YIY419, 7JD4957, 67763B3. That's audible activity and engineered light under a fake sun, and it's the same at nightfall. That's what the company Union Pacific's going to be prosecuted for. Terrorism. Literally, the pathetic posture of that company engaging in what is using a train, going to that extent to engage in stalking one person. That's how important I am. 7MON064, and they're going to pay me my money for that. I'm going to drain those pockets. If that company even survives, it doesn't deserve to survive. This is years of terrorism and surveillance that they've been engaged in, and facilitation. 8ROF490. And let me be clear, facilitation is in and of itself an absolutely egregious and reprehensible crime. All right, facilitation of this crime by the government is in and of itself, and it's a separate federal charge. License 8XFP657. And it's 8:34 a.m. The license plate 8XFR352, 8ZCF630, 8H43175, license 8CGX050. Stalking and monitoring with the minions that are patrolling by in relevant position, that are outside in line, stalking in a line in relevant position at Clinica Medica, California. 8JGS850 is the minion whose image I just took. This demon sitting in their vehicle starts their ignition as I turn to the camera function. They're group stalking at Shiro's Liquor where the fake sun is over the building. License plate 4XCF905. 6NPW544. 7CVG226, 5YUN466, 5GZA465, 8VYN775, 7AJR828, 6STL965, 8GRP941, 8UEN097, 6EWT 073 7SRD 236 6SCS 629 5PZJ 525 8 U.S.C 763 8 BEP 544 6 VNH 589 8 SGD 360 01282. That's your handicap license plate, it looks like. It's 8:37 a.m. And this is surveillance that's underway at what is the B&G Plaza. Five RIV 265, 8 KFB 325. AC15N46, that's a paper plate. XBN179 8YIP513 7BVW, I can't really see that one, 8RLP524 8HSD672 8WBX571 6AQF977. It's 8:39 a.m. That's audible activity of Union Pacific. And I just captured video at 8:39 a.m. showing you what is the environment where that audible activity is being intentionally created around me. It's facilitation and ongoing creation of an environment for monitoring. And what is terrorism while demons engage in monitoring. It's 8:42 a.m. 8DNB893, but you can scratch that. I can't really see that one. 65131U2. 7NMJ905. Molesting. 8UWE274, 8PSZ243, 8XYW257, I believe. And that video that I showed you right now at 8:39 a.m., you're going to recall, again, I mean, not only documentation of when I'm staying in, when I stay in Ontario, because I'm at the county building at 8:37 in the morning, just the other day at 1627 East Hall Boulevard. But I remember, I'm causing you to remember, in other words, while I'm showing you the light source that's hovering over S.I.I.S Liquor in Ontario, when I have not even gotten on the bus and gone anywhere yet, 8RNY170, 7B, I can't really see that one. You can scratch that license plate. When I haven't gotten on the bus and gone anywhere, but yet at 8:38 a.m. after I've completed the entire route and gotten off the bus in Fontana at the Metrolink train station, the light source is right there over my head. Okay? That's stalking with the light source. Teleq is crossing path, TELACU, while the entity is sounding plane engines. That's audible activity. It's the same thing as the use of a train, audible activity, while a light source is hovering over me and demons are patrolling around me with directed light. The entity is engaging in what is the maintenance of a light source. The actual sun is not hovering over S.I.I.S Liquor, while it's remaining stationary over S.I.I.S Liquor, which is the placement that you can see it while I'm standing here in front of S.I.I.S Liquor. And then at the same time, it's remaining there relative to that vision while it's also moving in real time while I'm on the bus, as I've shown you on video, street for street, turn for turn, and at 9720, it's hovering over me, moving while I'm showing you it through the window, but yet it's still remaining hovering over S.I.I.S Liquor in Ontario at the same time. That's what you're suggesting with that conduct. It's impossible. It's asinine. All right. It is absolutely idiotic. That's stalking with the light source. That's not even the conduct of the sun. The object itself is not remaining over everything at the same time. It's not on one hand remaining stationary, hovering, even for the duration of the day, by the way. This same Shiro's liquor I'm showing you at 4 o'clock in the evening, and which would be 5 o'clock in the evening, daylight savings time, where at this time the entity is setting a fake sun over me in Fontana, by the way. That's what you're looking at now, because that's where I'm at. But like I said, that's the same Shiro's liquor where the entity is setting a light source in alignment to me inside of that same Shiro's liquor at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's what I documented January 23rd, 2022. No, it's not the sun, and that's an impossibility. I mean, it's not just it's absolutely ridiculous what the entity is doing. And then the entity provides me documentation 7YPE499 that they like to stalk by helicopters, which is you like to go to federal prison. That's what you like. And every minion that I'm documenting subject to that same penalty. All right, you're documenting an entity. You run those tapes, you go into federal prison, 71757B3. It's evidence against the entity. All right, so you're talking about what is stalking with the light source. That's just what I captured right now. Clinica Medica, California, engaging in relevant positioning. They're group stalking. Even if those demons weren't lined up outside of the door, engaging in group stalking, clearly where you can see them, they're inside of the building in relevant positioning, and they're monitoring. That's why you have demons with directed light. That's why that's occurring. That's why that impossible occurrence is underway, because they're monitoring. 8SLW500, and they're stalking. You are monitoring, you are stalking, and you're doing it on behalf of the government. 00551 and 2. And if that's not a natural born citizen, deport that minion out of this country. An operation of his communication device looks to be of Latino descent. 5485 9F2. There's absolutely no way you're going to be in this country, granted citizenship, violating the constitutional rights of another. I mean, literally what's basic to your human rights, and being in this allegedly free country, and you've been granted citizenship, you're going to get the boot. You're out of here. 8YVX361. It's absurd what this entity is doing. Absolutely absurd. License 6NGG019 7JHS070 38 26783 8WXX350 8SBL403 6XMC443, and it's 8:46 a.m. License 5LYP837, 5UUZ495, 6FLV178, 8ZNZ668, 7BJC858. Bus number 1360, that's Omnitrans, Route 61 westbound, crossing path. Eight FRT. I can't see the rest of them. You can scratch that. License plate 8WDP345. $6PVF684. 44109A2. 8SJC208. 7G913. I can't see the rest one. 6T75832. 7XKS 162, 7ZAC 273, 6XXS 111, 4SWC 244, 8RWV 702, 5HJX 590, 7SRD 651. In case I didn't read that one, they're coming out of B&G Plaza right now. Blue Toyota Camry. 8UMZ 777, 6GZ S332, 8NXE 242, 5JBY 469, 5UNU 340. It is 8:50 a.m. This is P.O.C. License 7ETA 913 on surveillance cameras inside of Shiro's Liquor as well. Group stalking. It is license 8AQM 148 6J55 057, and it's 8:53 a.m. 7AMU 168. License plate 65131U2, in case I did not read that one already. 8DBC 148. 8TSF 609. 8ANN 318. It's 8:54 a.m. This demon loitering in front of what is Oscars inside of the B&G Plaza. License plate BU95Y68. That's a paper plate. Starts as ignition, which is audible activity creation, and as they move around in relevant position, that's why they stalk. That's why they begin movement, whatever it is that they're doing, because direct light moves all about while they do so. 8ATM 619, and he's exiting on surveillance cameras at the B&G Plaza at 8:55 a.m. License NAJOOLX 213388X1 6WEG400 6FBV544. Eight UPB 931 7X26800. 7WWF 673 6ZTU 396 87807Y2. It's 8:57 a.m. 823 7LK1 7EUG 654. All right, here comes Omnitrans at 8:57 a.m. And it's bus number, I'll read that in a second. License 7DOR320 1940282 5HZC941. This is bus number 1324. License 1370395. And it's 8:58 a.m. I'm on surveillance cameras. All the minions on the bus are monitoring. This is P.O.C. The fake sun will now move from Charles Liquor. Go on ahead, minion. Will now move from Charles Liquor and remain over me through the window of that bus to what is Fontana Metrolink train station. This is the P.O.C. 6UOK 106, molesting as well. So the fire department. Showing you images of the fire department. 1525708, I believe. That is Omnitrans. I took a picture of what is crossing path by the Ontario Fire Department. They are driving on 4th Street. Milliken. They're driving south on Milliken, crossing path. And the entity is engaging in that ongoing conduct of flashing light. I've already captured this in video. So I showed you a picture of every demon that's engaging in stalking. And this is the act of the demonic, touching with directed light. 642D8 handicap. 6M17987. So these demons are sitting on the bus and they're collectively touching with the engaging in demonic activity, and flashing of light is occurring all over the bus. And they're sitting there stalking in the path, engaging in terrorism. All right, that's what they're doing. So I want you to see the faces, including the driver. This is a demon. That's why directed light is over me. That's why that which is not the sun is over me. And they're doing so. Again, this is hostility to documentation. This is criminal conduct that's done on behalf of the people, by the way. The people of the state are being documented, all of them, and they're going to be prosecuted, all of them, for what the people are doing, stalking on this bus, acting in concert with this company, Omnitrans. And that's what I captured on video at the same exact street. This is the Ontario Airport, where the bus turns on Route 61 from Airport Drive onto Archibald. And that's exactly what I captured at 7:50 in the morning. And it's I'm capturing that at approximately like 9:12 in the morning. 9:12 in the morning on the day that I was at that location at 7:50 on the same route. The entity is engaging in group stalking while I'm at the library. I'm already at the Fontana Library. But today, again, as I get on the same route at a later time, the light sources are engaging in that same exact presence. And in addition to that, what I was pointing out in that video, these demons that are stalking on this bus, including the demon that's driving this bus, she's stalking. And she's doing so on behalf of the state. And she's also engaged in what is a perpetual sex offense and what is terrorism. All right. And these are psychopaths that are also, as I'm documenting them, following into bathrooms, stalking in bathrooms, which is what Fontana Library, a very violent sex offender, they like to engage in that. They like to facilitate that. And that's what they do. And it's the entity that's following from venue to venue. It is the same exact state of California that's monitoring. So I just want to remind you of that. 8 DST 487. 8 TLN 916. And it is currently 9:21 a.m. (8YLM 808) 8FM not, I can't really see that one. It is currently 9:22 a.m. at the 4th Street and the mall entrance. That is license 2407G 24075G2. License 8WLX013 at the freeway entrance where the 15 freeway exit is, and the Chevron gas and the Alberta. That's where we are right now, and minions are crossing path. This is ongoing group stalking as I'm continuously documented by license plates. 8YLM008, I believe. See that clearly though. But again, we've documented this employee before. It's employee number 3017, just to remind you. This is the minion that you see on video. She's a demon that's engaging in accosting, molesting, terrorizing with directed light with the rest of these demons that are riding on the bus. And again, the people of the state that are stalking in the path, this is demonic activity. You don't have to be sitting physically on the bus. They're not holding up their fingers going hocus pocus while they're touching with light. They're being psychopaths, as you see them on video, stalking, sitting in the bus seats, driving by on the street, and engaging in that violation with directed light. 8YLM078, I believe is the correct license plate. 8WLX013. Rider crossing path.
CR England is the what is the company that is carrying a Walmart trailer on the back of that truck. That's documentation of 2 third parties representing presence on behalf of the state, engaging in what is legally relevant criminal conduct and presence. Being present is literally the crime. Being present, that's what group stalking is. Crossing path at State Facilitating Venue at West Valley Detention Center, where the fake sun is remaining over me. They are engaged in surveillance right now. They're monitoring. And just like they were on the roads and the highways yesterday in Rancho Cucamonga, license 6N27328, where there is at no time going to be some placement of the light source over me, over the DMV, like it was yesterday while I was there, while the entity's keeping over me while I'm on the route of bus route 61. That's not coexisting. It's not maintaining stationary presence. Specifically at that location 7ZXT357, while it's moving over me, maintaining movement necessarily so, while it's street for street, turn for turn over my head as I'm on Route 61. Okay, 8X14525, I believe. This is P.O.C. at West Valley Detention Center, where they are engaged in surveillance as I documented while this entity was engaged in kidnapping inside of that very venue. Because that's what it is, it's a venue. Those deputies had multiple shadows. They were engaging in stalking with activity, demons, monitoring. 8PQP950, while they were engaging in a kidnapping, 7SNK307, which is also documented through the very paperwork, the very conduct that they engaged in. Very, very easy to document, making up information. And necessarily just disregarding what I'm fully capable of articulating in order to perpetrate that crime. And it's not just the Sheriff's Department, it's the Ontario Police Department and the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. All of them are venues that have been documented as well. The entity placing a light source directly over my head at the Ontario Police Department, documented. At the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court, documented on Route 66 at multiple times of the day. The entity keeping a light source. That's what I documented again yesterday while I'm on Route 66. And the entity is keeping a fake sun over me in Rancho Cucamonga. It's crossing paths with the venue of what is the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. It's a venue just like every other venue. Demons just like every other one. Demons in the court. Demons in the positions of judges and attorneys, acting in an official capacity, public corruption, while a pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. License 7WYB048.
Route 61, Fontana.
FBU484. You can see the light activity on the grounds of California Steel Industries along San Bernardino Avenue. They're monitored, and it's revealed through what is the light activity.
Please use rear
But
doors.
like I said, it's also established. The entity is keeping a fake sun over me in the same way that's all crossing paths with the West Valley Detention Center. It's not different when the entity is keeping a fake sun over me, driving by Robert Half and Martinez and Associates and Banner Bank, their venues, and surveillance is underway. But I'm just pointing out, you can literally see as the light poles on the along the street, and the shadow of those light poles, they are literally crooked, bending forward. It's absolutely demented. You can see it through the light activity, and that's not even the sun, and that's not even light. That's not a shadow. That's a naturally occurring shadow. It's very, very. When you pay attention, and when you see light on the ceiling and moving, multiple shadows appearing across the wall, that's the stuff that you're going to pay attention to. It's the light activity. License plate 17283E3.
Cherry Avenue. Redwood Street. Michael Avenue.
It's 9:32 a.m. We're currently at what is Cupid? I believe that's Cupid and San Bernardino Avenue.
Hemlock Avenue.
Elm and San Bernardino Avenue. And crossing what is Hemlock Avenue. So right now. 5ZOZ135. Alright, capturing video that you can look at
Cattle Rabbit Street.
9:35 a.m. And I remind you where I was at yesterday, documenting the criminal activity of the Sheriff's Department at 9:35 in the morning, while the entity is stalking by helicopter. The entity is stalking with light activity using that tow truck, and the entity is keeping the light source that is not possibly the sun, as I'm in Rancho Cucamonga, another city, showing you what is the pattern of conduct that's underway, speaking to what is a ceaseless pattern of conduct that is being executed by a government, the state of California, in concert with the people of the state, and doing so by maintaining a uniform environment and engaging what is in a specific code of conduct, which is entirely demonic, and it shall be prosecuted as what is terrorism, and doing so, which is serving a criminal system of interstate stalking. This is surveillance by the government and the people. And as I'm at the nearest venue of what is La Cadena Market at the intersection of San Bernardino Avenue, it's like got more than one, it's got more than the traditional four-way intersection. It's like five-way. San Bernardino / Fontana / Elm Avenue / San Bernardino Avenue. And at the bus stop, the same minion that you see engaging in what is harassment, as I'm documenting him, who he represents the people. This is a hostile demon who you see slapping on the window. You're going to disregard that. This is anger at what is documenting San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, which is documentation of the entire entity. I'm documenting the people of the state, which is documenting the entire entity while I'm in Rancho Cucamonga. and that is not over that intersection. It's not occurring at the same time. It would not be present over my head, specifically while I'm looking out of the window. And also, in addition to that, yesterday while I'm at Hellman and 9th Street, and the entity is flying around me and was repeatedly doing so as I captured that video at that moment of 9:35 a.m. to make a vivid illustration of the pattern of conduct and what is the grounds of federal prison for those Sheriff's Department deputies. And they're not alone. There's a whole pack of them that are going to federal prison, and I've documented many of them, but that was documentation of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, let me be clear, and that is documentation of an entire entity. But there is a bigger picture. But yes, I have named those, and they're going to federal prison as they engaged in what's kidnapping, and that's the same Sheriff's Department that's engaged in group stalking upon engaging in repeated acts of kidnapping. And that's why I'm able to capture what is at 9:35 a.m., what is not possibly the sun over my head, while I'm in Fontana on Route 61, where again, as I documented, as I'm already completed this route and arrived at the Fontana Metro train station and went to the library at 8:38 a.m. today. That's where I was at the B&G Plaza. The entity's keeping a light source over me, where I'm showing you at Archibald and Airport Drive, where I showed you that same location at 7:50 in the morning. The light source is remaining over me. I'm already at the Fontana Lewis Library at 9:35 a.m. The entity is keeping a light source over me, which is also what I'm reminding you where I was at yesterday at DMV at 9th Street and Hellman, and that's exactly what was underway. Stalking with a light source, stalking by law enforcement, stalking with light activity, the demons of the people of the state, 7VGD 303, and stalking by helicopter. And this is speaking to the pattern of conduct as I documented it. And as I'm on the bus today at 9:35 and giving you something else to juxtapose with that specific time, i.e. Pomona, inside of Starbucks at 101 Mission Boulevard in Los Angeles County, as I documented on March 22nd, 2022, daylight savings time, the entity is keeping a light source directly over my head while I'm in Pomona, California, inside of Starbucks, while I'm in the city of Upland, directly over my head, while I'm in the city of Rancho Cucamonga yesterday, while I'm in Fontana, and the entity, while I'm already at the Fontana Lewis Library, for example, the same documentation, I mean, and I could keep going. The entity is maintaining a light source directly over me, and it is speaking to what is that pattern of conduct. And you also see it at 9:35 a.m. while the demon that is engaging in a pattern of harassment, that's the people of the state that are harassing. All right, that's conduct on behalf of an entity that's hostile. That's that same pathetic entity that's waiting for me to walk outside so they can fly over me by helicopter because they're mad, because you're demons, and I'm documenting you and I'm going to prosecute you and you're going to go to federal prison for that. But like I said, as you see that demon get on the bus, you see a thick band of directed light just swipe across the interior of the bus. First of all, that's not sunlight. Second of all, that's never occurring when you're opening and closing a door. Third of all, that's what Omnitrans is doing outside of the bus as well when they're approaching me and I'm not on the bus. Fourth of all, that's not going to occur when the entity is keeping a light source over Rancho Cucamonga, directly over the Sheriff's Department. That's not light activity that's going to occur, even if that was supposed to be some persuasive form of sunlight while the sun is above the bus, which it's not. That's why I'm showing you video at 9:35 a.m. while it's over me, while I'm facing and talking and encountering the demons of the Sheriff's Department. Yeah, that's P.O.C, and that's what you're looking at. It's demonic. And this is employee 3017 engaging in that conduct, monitoring with the people in that video. That everything she's doing is engagement in elements of monitoring and engaging in what is hostility while she is monitoring, and she's monitoring documentation. She's not engaging in operation of a bus. She's engaging in what is the maintenance of elements, and she's a demon doing so in that specific environment. And that's also while directed light is appearing in the back of the bus as you see the doors opening and closing. And that's exactly what I documented earlier, what those demons were doing while she's opening and closing the back of the door. Absolutely asinine with regard to the elements of monitoring while they're maintaining them. And it's absolutely that which is it's just clear demonic activity. All right, there is no occasion where that's naturally occurring under any circumstances, and that's not even the sun. So I have not only surrounded the entity with what is evidence of what it's doing, stalking with light. You're talking about what is asinine and the ways in which they're doing it, but there really is no persuasive way for a demon to stalk you with light. Once you're aware of it, it is very, very clearly that which you are able to capture, because it's absolutely abnormal. All right, so all you're doing is paying attention. Look up above you. That's not light that's going to occur from sunlight. That's on the ceiling and flowing down on the walls around you, and creating multiple shadows across the room. Yeah, that's common sense. There's no way to stalk with light in a method that's normal looking, or something that you're not going to pay attention to. You're going to pay attention. You're going to notice when an entity is keeping a light source that's not possibly the sun over you everywhere that you're going, regardless of what county, regardless of how long you remain at one position.
all right, you're going to notice that. And there's no way to hide that, all right? And that's what I'm showing you. So it's currently 9:44 a.m. That's the same demon engaging in what is raising his voice. He's monitoring, and it's also the ways in which demons show hostility, all right? They are an inferior population. They're the cockroaches of humanity, okay? It is currently 9:44 a.m., and this is P.O.C. 8TQR929, 6PZX 826, 7XJL 991, pacing into the El Super Plaza, 7YFK 192, one demon after another, 7LD 5765, 7NXL 432, 8ZFZ 503, 8WNJ 660, 7KVL 532. That's El Super at Marigold and Sierra Avenue, 20492U2, 7LYP 190, 4JOA 584. It's at 9:45 a.m. And this is the location where I showed you at 8:26 in the morning, which is what I was referencing this morning when I started this podcast, where the light source is remaining at the Shiro's Liquor. It's not on this street right now where I'm at 9:45 in the morning, and the entity's keeping the fake sun over me here while I'm just now arriving. But what was that? That was occurring at 8:26 in the morning when you saw that demonic light flashing all into the interior of this bus across the roof, and that's demonic activity, all right? That's light. That's impossible light. That's the act of the demonic while they're sitting around engaging in manifesting light, and they're just looking in the opposite direction, all right? They're not throwing dust, fairy dust while they're doing it. Oh, they're sitting around like they don't like they're unaware of what they are doing. They're demons. It's demonic activity. All right, and that's the prosecution for terrorism. Psychopaths engaging in that sort of conduct, terrorizing you. And then engaging in conduct that is supposed to create a narrative for you to be suffering from some paranoid schizophrenia. That's the P.O.C. Understand that. But for documentation, and I'm going to prosecute for that, and you're going to legislate around that. It is currently 9:46 a.m., and that's where I'm located, where the entity's keeping a fake sun at 9:46 in the morning, as it was doing at the same location where I'm at right now, going northbound on Sierra Avenue at 8:26 in the morning. And that's the P.O.C. Z49532. 8BQW023. Eight PNJ 468, 8KIL 748. So old Toyota Camry. And we're at Randall Avenue and Sierra Avenue. Minions walking on the sidewalk, monitoring. They're crossing paths with communication devices. This is comprehensive surveillance. Every method of maintaining presence. Just looking in every other direction while the entity maintains the environment around me. And this is what state surveillance is. 7LYP190. This is what demonic activity is.
Para niños hasta 5 años, para programas de día completo o parcial. Condado de San Bernardino también ofrece el programa DIP para las futuras mamás embarazadas. Para más información, llame
7AEP835. 88DK350. 7VBH 966, 6Z31062, 8ZX 4118, 8KU. I can't really see that. Where's that? 2. I can't see that one. You can scratch that one. 7TVG 049. Okay. 7E. I can't see that one. You can scratch that one. It is 9:48 a.m. Six EXS 150. 6UMA 034. 6GCR 776.
stop request.
7WIL260. And the entity repeating that conduct that I showed you at 8:26 a.m. with the directed light all around on the roof of the bus. 8TYK081. That's what they're doing right now. License 7E63828, and it's just a great thing to have rich documentation that exists as to exactly what the demons are doing around, and you can reference that. That's exactly what they're doing, and that's terrorism, and you prosecute for that. That's an impermissible threat. Demons love to engage in, again, stalking by helicopter. While I document the fact that you're stalking by helicopter, that's called an impermissible threat. So that's P.O.C. This is employee number 3017. Hold on. Excuse me? And again, employee 3017 is driving bus 1324, license 1370395, P.O.C. And again, direct the light as you saw on the inside of the bus, on the outside of the bus while she closes the door. All right, that's the sex offender and the terrorist. 7SQP607. 8RIN 710, 8UVM 009. They're monitoring at Jiffy Lube at 8893 Sierra Avenue. While she's touching me with directed light, it's occurring because it's ongoing facilitation and demons are surrounding. So while employee 3017 is showing her condition, she's showing everyone else's condition as well. 41122X2, 75991M2, 8HSR530. 6P876654 I Heart UBMO, and it's the same thing with the light source over. They cannot hide their condition in that demonic environment. 7PWU300. They're also engaging in showing it and putting it on display while they're stalking with directed light, which is the heavily documented pattern of conduct of stalking with engineered light, moving all over the sidewalk, asphalt, buildings. My person, I've been documenting that for years. I have on YouTube an ongoing growing list because I have not even taken out or specifically isolated all of my documentation in such a playlist where I'm showing you directed light. But as of right now, as I've gone through a lot of it, but not all of it, I have over 900 videos showing you what is directed light. And that is the demon possession and the criminal conduct while that demon possession, that demonic activity is underway. They're monitoring, they're engaging in surveillance. 8JER944. 26830C1, 8EBC066, 5MBK583, 67768G2, 7YYP575. And this is ARCO, documented ARCO, if you recall my documentation, while I'm staying in, for example, at the Fontana Lewis Library, or while I'm staying in Rancho Cucamonga, while I'm staying in Ontario. 9:35 a.m., the entity's keeping a fake sun over ARCO. 63297S2. And these are demons pacing in and out, directed light underneath the roof of the gas stalls. And the fake sun is over me here. AV15466, and I did capture video of that before. Again, that's not possible while that's what I'm saying when I've already documented, and then I'll go to Rancho Cucamonga, and then I'll go to Pomona or Chino. But what was that's over me while I'm at the ARCO, directly over my head at Randall, very specific, all right? But not when I go to a different city. Not when I remain in Ontario, 7FBL593. It's not over, it's not possibly over ARCO, and it's not over at the same time. It's not engaging in stationary maintenance of one location all day long, and then also moving all over the place to remain over me if I move, as I move. 6UXL224. License 6HEK975. 4V15466, 8TQC917. And this is literally the pathetic posture of the demon possessed. They're sitting up at gas stations, stalking, and engaging in what is synchronized movement, and directed light is moving while they do so together. They're stalking and monitoring together. This is the demon possessed. U.S.C crossing path is 8FXL234. Alrighty, group stalking behind me, 1259. That's Omnitrans. I just got off of Route 61, okay? That is, bus 1259, 137. Can't see the rest of that license plate, but that's bus 1259 at 9:54 a.m., okay? Crossing path and stopping at the Route 61 bus stop right here at Merrill and Sierra Avenue where I am. This is, let me see. Okay, Route 61 and Route 19. It is currently 9:55 a.m., so I want to document that. Omnitrans is crossing path and arriving at that time while I'm documenting pictures of these demons that are group stalking at the Arco gas station. 7EGZ364, 7VXD199, 8WVU916, 8FYU707. They're all monitoring together. That's why the entity has, first of all, the fake sun is over me here at this Arco at 9:55 a.m. Remember, I'm remaining at what is the county building. I'm showing you video of the fake sun over my head at that parking lot. Not over the passenger side of the bus as it's driving east on Hull Boulevard. It was over the building, over my head. After I showed you direct light inside of the county building where those demons are stalking inside of that room. Inside of the county building, 7EAH805. And of course, I remained in Rancho Cucamonga yesterday. 7EGC364, 7PWC193, 7CVK496, 6SCK, 6SKC, you can scratch that one, 8GNS197. And the entity is keeping a light source here over this Arco, which is not the same. It is not going to maintain presence. It's not over the Arco gas station in Fontana. And by the way, the entity stops is not present over the Fontana Metrolink train station where that bus got off, or where that bus is stopping. It gets over and remains over me as I get off of the bus, where I get off the bus. That's why it remains at the B&G Plaza as opposed to already being at the Fontana Metrolink train station or some position relative to that. It's maintaining presence over me as I move. And it's nowhere present over what is Rancho Cucamonga anywhere. How are you occurring? This is demonic. All right, and that's what you're also seeing through the demonic light as I captured in video again today. 63297S2, you see that demon with high socks on, all of them looking like they're looking in their trunks, they're studying the gas pumps, they're looking through their interior of their car while they're stalking. Directed light is above them, just as I've shown you inside of the county buildings and the DMV building, where the entity is keeping a fake sun today, while today, right now, it's over the Arco. Okay, 5ZWK486. That's what group stalkers do. All right, they want to look like you can look like whatever you want. That evidence is above your head. It's above what is the 5MBK583, in case I didn't read that one. That evidence is above your head. That environment that you're in, you're intentionally present, and you're just looking at what is a psychopath while they are relying on looking the opposite direction. Hopefully that looks like I'm looking the other way. I don't even know that you're there. I can't be stalking. That's not the definition of group stalking. And it's demonic activity. Satan doesn't even have to look at you. All right, Satan is hovering through you. Satan is hovering around you through their very presence. They're monitoring with communication devices, and they're demons who are keeping a third eye on you. They know exactly what you're doing. They'll use closing their doors, closing their trunks, driving by in order to touch, dragging directed light, to stalk with audible activity, doing all of the above. And they're doing it under what is a light source, which is a fake sun during the day, and directed light, which remains, engineered light remains at nightfall. Okay, and you're present in that environment. You're a demon and you're stalking. All right, it's 9:58 a.m. It's punctuated when I'm showing you what is the light source over me in Rancho Cucamonga, and then I'm at Arco, and you want to look to the left. You can look to the left and to the right. Go on ahead. Ew. It's 9:58 a.m. This is P.O.C. RYH262. This fatty 8TFJ525. She's stalking like every other minute on surveillance cameras at Arco. It's 9:58 a.m. P.O.C. All right, you're looking at what is patrolling into the store of Arco, where the light source is above this Arco, and they are doing so in what is directed light. This is demonic activity, and this is stalking. This is what is group stalking. It's occurring inside of the venue, as I'm documenting, also outside of the venue, at the gas stalls and on the streets and the highways, and also the Jiffy Lube. They're stalking in relevant position wherever your business is. You're stalking on behalf of the state. You're in the specific environment, and it is serving for what is surveillance that's underway by government. That's what monitoring is, by government, by the people. That's massive surveillance. Hi, do you work here? How much you charge for ice? A cup of ice?
Just for ice?
Yeah.
If you don't have a cup, you have to charge a regular cup.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's grab the one bigger size and that one is cheaper. 87 cents.
Oh, okay. He's crossing path. It is 10 a.m. BE98Z03 paper. These demons are having a field day out here. 8VKJ052, that's African American male, and 88555N1, this is Guadalajara Furniture, directed light reaching into the depths of the Arco while they cross path in the parking lot. 8TIF350, 7FYT410. And I'm showing you what is group stalking inside as well. They're patrolling inside, and the entity's flashing directed light, like bars like you saw on the bus while that door closed. That's what's occurring inside of the Arco. A bars of directed light while that Guadalajara Furniture truck crosses path. It is 10:03 a.m. 7VZN208, 4GXY205, 8PNU941, DT101 handicap, 6BAW591, 6RVL682. I think I might have read that one already. Make sure I get all this. I think I read that Minion's license plate. Read that one. Six DDE 876. 4WZE 644. Yeah. 6V. That one. 6NVB 734. And it's 10:11 a.m. And I've completed a series of purchases inside of the Arco on surveillance cameras. And what you're looking at is group stalking. It's demonic activity, what you're actually witnessing as I'm revealing this system. And again, this is informative with regard to literally studying the demon possessed and how Satan is using people and actually all of the false ideas with regard that surrounding demonic activity. Because that's what you're looking at on surveillance cameras. And they're engaging in what is the malicious system of federal group stalking and monitoring as well. But you're understanding and learning, it's literally a tutorial. These are demons that are engaging in synchronized conduct together. License 7KMH341 8MOP201, 7301 E2, substantially similar. I couldn't see the whole plate, but that's FedEx. 6AXN 799, and it is 10:12 a.m. I'm proceeding to walk north on Sierra Avenue. 8NGK 487. 8JCV106, 58794F2, BM24S63, that's a paper plate on an old Buick. 7PJE689, 5GKL036, 7YVA056, 4SZA193, 5XDK447, 8R988, 6CG, I can't say that one, 1479379, that's Omnitrans. 8N59774, 7HRN766, 8ELX222, 8HVP299, 7PBU314, 4MGX838, 6NVJ713, 8LOM254, 6MVD991, 28021E3, 5ZUE392, 7NTD524, 7ZLC213, 6VPD416, 8RAC406, 8YRL221, 1527171, that's Omnitrans, 4UQP415. And it is 10:19 a.m. and that was Metrolink engaging in the pattern of conduct as well, both by facilitation, massive facilitation, using the train, creating light activity, amplified audible activity, and crossing path by the minions that are riding the train of of Metrolink. 7AVJ, I can't see the rest of them. 7JXC054, and Metrolink, as I captured in still image, is crossing path and proceeding east from the Metrolink train station, and does so, drops the bars, creating loud activity and audible activity as I arrive. License plate of Amazon Prime, license 79755H3, license 6JGR901, GG896, handicap. It is 10:20 a.m. and I'm at the intersection now of what is Orange Way and Sierra Avenue, and this is where the fake sun is. P.O.C. Fontana Police, license 1473582, BF77W02 paper, 4GPS205, 254GZ handicap, 8NMH716, 8XHS559, 8ZBB903, 8MUW153, 8JNH816, and this is crossing path by the minions at Sierra Avenue and Arrow Boulevard in Fontana, where I'm at. I'm still walking in the entity keeping a fake sun. It's not in Rancho Cucamonga. It's not over 9281 Calle Behar as FedEx, and the people were stalking yesterday under that light source. All right, this is demonic, and this is the light source that's over me in Fontana today. 7AVE215 7B38296. 8MOP201, Amazon 80136H3, license 8JTB672, 8RHU220, 7RQW262, 5AMK919, 82447X2. And that is the entity engaging in what is presence on behalf of the state of California. Understand that, and these are demons doing so, driving police vehicles, driving their own vehicles, or who else is, just a civilian vehicle in general, because it could be any maintenance vehicle that a demon is crossing path in. 7 U.S.A. 552, whatever is your means of identifying them, and they'll be prosecuted. Period. And also the bigger picture, they'll be identified amongst what is a demon-possessed population, and that is also an objective. Satan not hiding behind what are people. You need their condition needs to be known, and that's also going to be accomplished through what is a prosecution. By the way, 6XXP341, 7HNK186, and that includes the Fontana Police Department, who are engaging in demonic activity. They are crossing path and engineered light. They are engaging in what is demonic pacing in the aggregate while demons are repeatedly crossing path around me. This is what Satan is doing. This is the ritualistic stalking conduct. That's what group stalking is. They're doing it under a light source that is clearly over me in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, which I'm documenting, and I catch you in my next video at 10:48 a.m. I'm clearly at the Foothill Village Shopping Plaza. I'm walking north up, let me get this, 7HNK186. I'm walking north up what is Hellman, and I'm documenting the people of the state at Devon and at Calle Behar, where the entity is keeping the light source. They're stalking in the path with light. And today, I'm not going anywhere near Rancho Cucamonga. Did not get on Route 66. The entity keeping a light source over me while I am right now walking on Sierra Avenue onto Arrow Boulevard, and the light source is over me. This is the pattern of conduct, okay? And that's exactly what I'm showing you while I'm reminding you and capturing video of what is also not only directed light, but the light source itself. And this is the combined evidence of what is within the pattern of conduct by a demon-possessed population that is engaging in what is surveillance, and know exactly what's being documented everywhere that I'm going. It's the same entity. And that's why you have demons that are engaging in harassment while they do it directly and while they do it, I would say passive aggressively, but it's actually not passive aggressive. It's on behalf of the government. So, but while I'm mentioning passive aggressive, I just mean, oh, they may be raising their voice and talking to somebody else, but it's audible activity. They're monitoring you, and they're doing it with knowledge of the fact that you're documenting. And that's how Satan is engaging in what is passive aggressive. And that is relative to what is group stalking, because the outward appearance is supposed to be that they're not stalking you. You don't even know them. They're just sitting on the bus next to you. All right. But then there is the evidence. There is directed light. There is a light source that's not possibly the sun. There is amplified audible activity. There is stalking by an entity that is underway, and that's what you're documenting. And so that is literally shutting down every false premise upon which this entire system is based. All right. And a lot of very ignorant premises, because group stalking is they're relying on a whole bunch of premises, but not only dissecting under the law, my understanding of the law, but also it's common sense. A lot of this is a matter of common sense, and then also applying what's going to be the application of law and how you're understanding what is a pattern of conduct, which you're not using some template of traditional stalking. It's not traditional stalking. It's stalking by government, and the government is not an individual. It's doing it through a people. All right. And so you're talking about understanding how's the government doing it when you're not looking at any police officers. You don't see no police around you. All right. At the moment, you don't see a helicopter flying over your head. All right. But you got that specific environment that you have those telltale signs, and you have what is the ongoing presence. The entity is maintaining presence directly and vicariously at all times in a very specific environment, while the entity is relying on these false premises. Because you don't know them, you can't be you're not a stalker, because you're looking to the left and the right while the entity is stalking by a helicopter, because you're engaging in what is making some kind of purchase while directed light is shooting all around in the room. And that's what I mean by ignorant and false premises. And it's absolutely unprepared for what is the dissection and revealing of that system and all of the profound methods of prosecution. You think this demonic activity is profound? Wait until you witness that prosecution. Judgment is going to be even worse than the malicious intentions of Satan itself, through the intent of a government and a people. It's 10:31 a.m. This is P.O.C. at Fontana Lewis Library. Sign over there. You guys are closing the cafe.
Sorry?
The cafe is closed.
Yes.
Okay. You guys aren't opening it today, is there?
No, we don't have enough staff to open that.
Oh, you don't have enough staff to open it. Okay. Thank you. What's your name?
I'm Vicky. Vicky?
Vicky. Okay. Good morning, Stephanie. That's P.O.C. It is currently 10:34 a.m. They use the same form. We don't have enough staff to open up the cafe. They are engaging in what is steering. That's what I refer to it as, steering, with regard to forcing you and isolating you from a particular area where they want to maintain the system of surveillance around me in a particular area, and closing down the cafe is one of those tactics. And in doing so, you can say anything. You could say you've got a termite infection. That's why, a termite infestation, and that's why you're closing it down. So I just want to document that. And she's group stalking.
You want one or two?
I'll take two. That'll be fine. Thank you. Thanks so much. What's your name?
Alyssa?
Alyssa. Okay, thanks, Alyssa. Alyssa is bathroom monitoring. All right, this is the sexually violent aspect of that pattern of conduct that is ceaselessly underway. She is sitting in relevant position while you see this demon that's stalking in the bathroom. And that's exactly what they're doing in what is directed light. That's why it's present. There are also demons engaging in that, and it's entirely demented, while they're also monitoring documentation. So you are looking at the documentation of your stalking conduct and where you're doing it. You are doing it on behalf of that government that is engaging in that pattern of conduct through you, and you are engaging in what is doing that at what is a facilitating venue that is Fontana Lewis Library. And Alyssa is also, her condition is exactly the same. This is a demon, and this is criminal conduct that Alyssa is engaging in while demons are pacing in and out of the men and women's restroom, doing so in directed light, maintaining ongoing knowledge of everything that's going on inside of that bathroom. This is the sex offender that are the demon-possessed population and the state of California engaging in surveillance inside of that private space. It's currently 1:12 p.m. This is P.O.C. This is federal stalking by entity in the bathroom. All right, I want to document what is the ongoing demonic activity, and this is serving a criminal purpose. And while demons are engaging in this pattern of conduct of surveillance with the state, it is harassment by a bunch of demons who are psychopaths while they engage in this pattern of conduct. And so you also see this illustrated through the images and the unmistakable pattern of conduct. You've seen what is the directed light. You've seen what is the light source that is remaining over the venue and aiming all manner of what is flashing light. The entity has even provided that wealth of documentation. And then you see how they are outwardly conducting themselves while this circus of an environment surrounds, all right? And while they're engaging in the most sexually perverted and demented conduct that one can literally fathom, if you can fathom it at all. This is the harassment by a demon-possessed entity who's group stalking. This is Fontana Lewis Library. And they are engaging in what is harassment, and this is a psychopath level conduct. So the light activity you've seen, for example, on the bus, you've seen inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, flashing of light to the tops of the brick walls inside of this library. This is what the entity is concentrating on the desktop right beside me. FONADULT 02, and I'm on 01. And you can see the overweight minion who is stalking in the path, focusing his vision on a computer screen, with the aged demon wearing the gloves. Both of them are stalking and engaging in what is demonic activity, while that light activity is a method of what is harassment while they are monitoring. All right. And these are demons who are in the same regard, psychopaths, expressing and communicating that hostility while they keep their vision and keep their back to me, and they're stalking. This is the conduct of Satan, and this is the prosecution of the people for that sort of terrorism. It is entirely sick and demented. And the directed light conduct, the directed light inside of this venue, the maintenance of a light source for in excess of 10 hours. You have what is a light source that's over this venue 10:30 in the morning. And upon my arrival, where again, by the way, yesterday at 10:30, I'm at 9281 Calle Vejar in Rancho Cucamonga. But in addition to that, you have the light source at 5:52 p.m. over this same venue, and remaining after that. And that's, again, Monday through Thursdays only, when the light source is remaining after the time that I am remaining beyond 6 p.m. But again, this is stalking with light. These are the psychopaths and the delusional ones who are engaging in this stalking conduct and revealing to you what is how the personality of Satan, the personality of what are demented criminals, psychopaths, engaging in demonic activity. And it shall be the criminalization of that, and aptly placed into what are cages that they belong in. And so with that, I want to provide that preface to what it is that these minions are doing. Not only are they engaged in surveillance in the bathroom, these are sex offenders. They're engaging in what is harassment by the demon-possessed population. The entity that is engaging in what is flashing of light on the computer desktop beside me while they are sitting around engaged in surveillance. That's all that they're doing. That's why that environment is present, and that's why that ongoing occurrence is underway. And so I'm showing you what is relevant positioning inside of the venue. And this is is documentation of what is the molestation and harassment, which is terrorism, via directed light in concert and on behalf of the state of California. And that is the conduct of the perpetual sex offender. It is the conduct of what is the terrorist. That is the domestic enemy, the state of California, and the people of the state. And this is entirely demonic. And so you can see this overweight minion who is engaging in what is stalking inside of a library while he is doing so with the employee that works here. This is facilitation by the people of the state. They're facilitating they are facilitating each other's criminal activity, both of whom are doing it on behalf of the state. So this is the reality of what they're engaged in, and them standing in front of a computer is no form. They are inside of the building where the light source is remaining. They are inside of the building where heavily documented directed light is present, and this is the conduct of what are psychopaths, and they're not acting by themselves. I have captured what is a flurry of images showing you what is group stalking inside of this venue. Yes. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
How can I help you?
So I just need you to bring your volume down. You're being a little too, your volume is too high.
It's very, very loud in here all the time, even when I have headphones on. And actually, I've even observed you being extraordinarily disturbing when I'm in the computer lab. So that's why I find it really ironic when you pick me out and ask me to be quiet. And besides the noise, there is the environment itself, which is also very distracting. It does seem like it is a method of targeting. And I don't even know where you came from. Where did you come from right now? You heard my voice downstairs?
I was at the desk.
Oh, okay.
I was at the desk.
Okay, that's in relevant position.
Yes. So if you can just lower your volume, that is all I'm asking.
I just want to go. You're Stephanie Ramos Manso. Okay, that's harassment. All right, this is the pattern of conduct. She's standing at the desk where the entity is aiming directed light and engaging in what is harassment, and then coming and asking me to be quiet when she participates in this psycho level disturbance inside of the library, particularly inside of the computer lab where I've documented. So I want to document that. Excuse me?
I know that you come in here often. We want you to keep coming here. But you have been loud consistently. So
Consistently, define consistently for you.
I've walked past here many times. And, I said, okay, you're recording.
That's very vague. What many times when?
Probably about 5 times today in the afternoon.
Today?
Between...
We walked by each other today, yeah. So when did you hear me today?
Yeah, I've heard you a couple of times. So I'm not...
Yeah, you're actually making that up. I have not engaged in recording today at this desk. I'm on computer number 01.
Yes, you've been here for a while, actually.
Yeah, I have been here, but you're talking specifically about creating an issue where there isn't, because now I am documenting you, and you're stating that you walked by 5 times today and you heard me documenting. That's a lie.
Or talking to yourself? Maybe?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. And she's got directed light behind her head. Go ahead.
Okay, I just need you to bring your volume down. That's it. If not, I will have to ask you to leave.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't want to do that, okay?
No, well, yeah, actually you do. But that's why you just made up that information about 5 separate times that you heard me talking, and that's not true.
Okay, well, you're welcome to your opinion.
It's not an opinion. You're making allegations, so that would have to be factual.
Okay.
What 5 times did you hear me talking today?
So, it's okay. I understand that you...
Okay, she's making that up, and everything that I've documented, you're talking about what is going to be on this podcast. So, go ahead.
I'm just asking you to bring your volume down. That is it.
That's not all that you're doing right now. You just made up information. That's problematic, Stephanie. You're an employee here, and it is a method of what is targeting.
Okay.
So you just made up that information. That's why I'm clarifying it.
Okay, I did not make up that information, but
you just said 5 times. This is why you document people like you.
This isn't a
you just said 5 times.
It may have been more than 5 times, to be honest.
But you still haven't given me a specific example when. This is the first time that I'm seeing you over here. I've been sitting at this computer since I entered after 10 o'clock.
So, I'm not going to give you any other details.
All right, because you're making it up, and that's my point. Other than that, the volume's not an issue. Please do not make up information. That's what Sarah Bartlett did, and that's a problem. Okay?
So I just need you to bring your volume down. If not, I'm going to ask you to leave.
That's fine. Don't make up information.
I'm not making
You just did, and you can't even define it. You just made up information, Stephanie, and that's problematic. Because you want to substantiate why you're targeting me in the computer lab.
Okay.
Right?
I'm not targeting you.
That is when you're making up information, and that's a problem. Other than asking me to lower my volume, that's it. That's fine.
Okay.
You want to do that, that's still harassment. But now you're sitting up making up information, 5 other incidents, and there were no 5 other incidents.
Okay. I have not talked to you 5 other times.
But you stated that you
I have
did.
walked by several times.
Yeah.
That is what I was saying. I apologize if I miscommunicated.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right, that's fine.
Okay, I need to talk to you again about the volume. I'll ask you to leave.
You said what?
Thank you. If I need to talk to you again about the volume, I will ask you to leave.
If you're going to talk to me about the volume again, when?
If I need to talk to you
when?
About the volume again.
That sounds like a threat.
That's not a threat. I'm telling you that if I need to talk to you again, I will ask you to leave. It's not a threat.
That sounds like a threat. It is, because you're being documented. This is obstruction of justice. You and Demontre, your employees here, this one here, I don't know his name, you guys are engaging in what is a disruptive environment altogether, including the noise. And then you ask me when I'm documenting the very disturbing environment that I'm inside, and it's supposed to be a library, and then you want to target me. You have those who are playing music on their phones, talking on speakerphone inside of the library. I've even talked to you about this before when I was talking outside on my phone, and as I'm walking inside, you're asking me to keep my volume down when I wasn't talking inside of the building. All right. But nonetheless, I didn't make an issue with that. But what I did bring up was what is relevant is the loud disturbance that is systematically underway inside of this venue, the library, including in the computer lab, the cafe area, which you guys have closed today.
I'm going to leave now. Please keep your volume down.
Okay. I would do so if I were you too, Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is 5:39 p.m. That's P.O.C. That's harassment by a minion who's monitoring. All right, and that entire conversation is serving the pattern of conduct as well, while she has directed light flashing behind her head, and the overweight minion that you see on the computer, the old, aged one, he is monitoring. The ongoing pattern of conduct is underway while I'm addressing every word that's coming out of her mouth while she's lying. Okay, it is 5:40 p.m. And remember the incident with what is Sarah Bartlett, that's criminal summoning the light sources over the venue right now. And this is Stephanie, that is an employee who was monitoring. And she's also a sex offender monitoring in the bathroom and then coming and asking me to keep my voice down when demons are engaging in ongoing noise and disruptance for the duration. It is the pattern of conduct. It's 5:40 p.m. That is the impossible audible activity of traffic from outside while I'm on the second floor inside of the library on computer number 1, FONADULT01. Specifically the sound of motorcycles revving their engines. It is 5:44 p.m. and you have what is also sensational activity creation, the entity engaging in what is that ongoing demonic activity. Stephanie is demon possessed. This is her condition, and this is a hostile demon who is using her job as a means of, and also the form that she's concerned with, tranquility in the library when they are demons engaging in the maintenance of noise in order to monitor the same venue where the entity is flying over me by helicopter over this allegedly quiet and tranquil library. Okay, this is P.O.C. It's 5:44 p.m. and I'm going to prosecute her for that. It's harassment on behalf of the entity. It's 5:44 p.m. Alrighty, this is bathroom monitoring. Again, this stalking in the bathroom. This is what Stephanie is engaging in while she's monitoring and engaging in what is then harassment, monitoring everything that I'm publishing, everything that I'm uploading, and then coming to focus in on me while I'm documenting on my podcast. That's literally what that demon was doing. You have what is the flashing directed light inside of the library. What you heard is impossible to actually hear inside of the library. The traffic that's supposedly on Sierra Avenue while I'm on the second floor. And it's motorcycles, that's what you hear. That's demonic, okay? That is impossible. You're not able to hear the traffic, and you're not going to be able to hear the traffic in the same way that the actual sun's not remaining over the building of the Fontana Lewis Library for in excess of 6 hours, but this is what the entity is documented as engaging in, and this is what's ongoing while Stephanie is engaging in what is harassment. And then you have what is Stephanie that is stalking in the bathroom, okay, because she's part of the same entity in what is directed light amongst what is amplified audible activity and engaging in then what is targeting while she's monitoring someone. That's grounds of what is federal prison, all right? She's engaged in criminal summoning. That's what Fontana Lewis Library is engaged in. on numerous occasions, engaged in that impermissible threat with the Fontana Police Department, the San Bernardino County Probation Department, while they're monitoring, trying to engage in what is threatening. It is threatening, but hi, what's your name? Jasmine is monitoring as well. She's standing in directed light at the circulation desk area while the entity is flashing directed light inside of the library. So anyway, I documented what is present inside of the library, inside of the bathroom. They're stalking in the bathroom. Okay, that's exactly what they were doing right now. It is currently 5:59 p.m. And what you heard, again, what I'm documenting moments after I'm encountering this demon, Stephanie. She's a state actor. She's engaging in what is referred to as, first of all, obstruction of justice. Using the library is not some fun time. This is what would be the targeted individuals, perhaps their only means of accessing and publishing documentation that they are accumulating about the government while they remain subject to the system. The entity is aware of what is going on, and threatening is that's what that statement is tantamount to. You're threatening while you're monitoring. 4560 I can't really see that. 54600F2, I believe, but I can't see that clearly. And that's what that is, and that's exactly what I asked her. Are you threatening me because you're breaking through what is, first of all, it's audible activity, and second of all, this is a demon. She's sitting there talking to me with flashing light behind her head. All right, and they are engaging in what is loud booming and banging and stalking with noise all day, which I've addressed with her before, while she also engaged in targeting me on another day, which I published that on my podcast. But like I said, today I have 5UVE810, and this demon that's crossing path, the correct license plate is 45640F2. The entity is maintaining what is a light source that is over the venue, first of all, while she's speaking to what is, can you lower your voice? She comes from around whatever corner she's at. She's stalking. She's using her position as a means of being some form of what is authority, and also interrupting what I am doing, which is documentation, while the pattern of conduct is underway. Seconds later, I'm capturing what is the impossible audible activity. In other words, you are not going to hear traffic inside of the depths of that Fontana Lewis library. You're not. They're acting like it's some cardboard apartment building in the middle of Compton. All right, in other words, and why I'm referencing Compton, like they're very cheaply, poorly constructed apartment building where you can hear everything next door. That's not what's going. This is the pattern. That's what the entity does in the bathroom. All right, that's what you're hearing with that motorcycle, which you cannot hear. I was on the second floor. I took a picture of the computer I'm sitting at. I also showed you where I've been sitting at all day. And she's also engaging in what is lying. All she's doing, but let me be clear, while she's lying, she's creating audible activity. This demon is monitoring the entire time. And also, this is a demon that wants to harass in any way that she can. So all I'm doing is calling her out on everything. And while you want to threaten me, I'm going to prosecute you with that. It's very serious what the entity is doing. You're talking about what is the livelihood, what is the ability to publish documentation, and you're not going to stop it. I will prosecute you for your efforts to do so. And it is relevant to what is a greater picture. First of all, you are surrounded in an environment. You're on the clock, you're being documented while you're here working. It is documentation. The government is stalking through you in a bathroom, all right? And you are engaging in what is surveillance of one in a bathroom. You are an entirely demented, sick, you are a whole psychopath and a sex offender. And then you're engaging in what is using any method of targeting. Can you keep your voice down? While these demons are loud all day long, and while they stand around, even when they're not using their voices, you have what is the exceptionally disruptive and harassing and demented conduct of what is flashing of light, which is what was continuing while that demon was harassing. So that's why I read her whole name. I've captured that overweight minion's image before. And who she is also not a mystery. That's why I recited her name. She works with Fontana Lewis Library. She's a minion. She's monitoring. She's stalking on behalf of the government. All right. And so that's what I captured. And listening, hearing those motorcycle engines, that's capturing the demonic. As I'm showing you what is a fake sun that's over the Fontana Lewis Library at 5:50 something as I walk out yesterday, that's capturing the demonic. Even as I arrive at 11:50, that's never going to be, the sun is never going to be captured. And not only that, you're talking about what duration of time. You're talking about it stays over me, obviously, as I go to the Fontana Michelin train station. This demon 7UKP597. But not only that, the entity then is already documented keeping a fake sun over me for the duration of the day in Upland, California, when I'm going to that library. And already is captured in Ontario when I go to the Ovid Family Community Library. Or when I was living in my car, for example, before I was remaining at the library all day long. All right, you're talking about what is documentation that is ages old, centering an environment around me all day long,
And then all I've done is documented it, and that is insurmountable and irreconcilable evidence of what is the pattern of conduct and showing how a government does it. And then you're getting down to how you're going to prosecute the people, because that's what that overweight, lumpy minion going by the name of Stephanie was doing as you listen to her. And then she started to lie, okay? And then I'm calling her out on that. License plate. This is the sex offender, RENE 8. This is the sex offender that's literally stalking in the bathroom. You see her also on surveillance cameras. She's followed by an employee. They're patrolling in the bathroom. First of all, the director light is in the bathroom. And director light remains in the library, as I took pictures of, as you can see from the first floor. You can see it on the second floor, and I've already captured video of that, okay? So anyway, that's the license plate of that sex offender who was captured walking out of the bathroom as well. And this is the entity stalking by helicopter again. It's 6:05 p.m. And they're doing so under what is the fake sun that remains at the, I was about to say wrong venue. The actual light source, the light source, because that's not the actual sun. The light source is now setting in alignment with me in Fontana and no longer in perfect alignment with the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library, which would be diagonal to what is the intersection of C Street and, diagonal to what is the intersection of Euclid and Hope Boulevard, with regard to where that Ovid Family Community Library entrance doors is, the entity acting as though that's the sun setting in the evening. Not anymore, because it's keeping it right here over Fontana Lewis Library, where the government's stalking by helicopter, okay? And that same government is acting in concert with that minion inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, engaging in what is harassment. That is very serious with regard to the ways in which I'm going to prosecute. It's a method of obstruction of justice. And then while you want to lie, you're creating audible activity, monitoring with that government, and then you want to commence to lie. All right, she's lying. We have not had conversation one, and that overweight minion, which would have been a form of what is a mini earthquake, which is what they engage in while I'm sitting at any computer. There was no encounter today, and I also did not engage in heavy documentation inside of the library today, which is documented on my podcast. This is why you document Satan. Satan is a liar, okay? And you have what is engaging in what is that lie on podcast. That's relevant. Understand, the intent is to obstruct justice. The intent is to interrupt what I was doing, which is publishing images. 7FAY 814, stalking. 7EEA 485, stalking. And that's what I was doing. I was in the middle of capturing close-up images of these demons who were stalking all around in the path. So don't be distracted, because that's exactly what I was describing, and that's what I'll document her too, and I'm gonna prosecute her for that. That's harassment on behalf of the entity that's stalking, and stalking directly and vicariously. Okay, Stephanie represents the vicarious stalking conduct by the state of California, and the government that's flying over by helicopter is the state of California stalking directly. It's group stalking, and it's entirely demonic. They're in a demonic environment, engaging in demonic activity, serving what is criminal surveillance, monitoring, okay? So the entity, I've captured close-up images which are published on my website, while the entity is aiming flashing light onto the computer and just repeatedly. So I'm showing you what are demons in the same way when they're sitting on the bus, they're doing that. The demonic engage in what is the manifestation of light. If you did not know that, demons are capable of what are manifesting light. That's what they're doing when they're driving by and you're seeing what's light on the asphalt. That's not sunlight. And I've already established the entity stalking with a light source. That's not the sun. And that's not even sunlight. Even if you want to disregard, okay, that's the sun, that's still not sunlight. All right, the demon possessed manifest light. They're doing that inside of the building where they're sitting all around me. And repeatedly on the desk next to me, just light all around on this desk over and over again, just flash, 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 while they are literally looking at what I'm publishing on the internet, what I'm reviewing. It's literally like a real-time reaction, and it's personified through the light. All right, this psychopath, this stalker, this hostile minion is demonstrating that hostility while I'm being surrounded with and terrorized by what is directed light. And I'm taking pictures of them. They're stalking in the path. They're monitoring while they're sitting there quietly in directed light that's just as loud as booming and banging through the walls, if you will. Okay. And you have what is this psychopath Stephanie, who walks up seconds later, and that's exactly what I documented. She is in relevant position, and she confessed to being so. Well, she is while she's working there anyway during the day. She's stalking in the path on the clock. 7RZG593. But like I said, she's stating that she's sitting at the desk. She was stalking in the past. She's a part of that same demonic conduct while the entity was harassing with directed light. She knows exactly the pictures that I took. And as I was commencing to publish them onto my website, she immediately approaches and engages in what is a method of what is targeting. While directed light continues to flash behind that psychopath, sex offending, demon possessed stalker's head. While she is with a straight face continuing to talk as you hear her talking. And I'm just pointing out, while she's talking and lying, directed light behind her head.
All right, directed light is still flashing while she's monitoring everything she's saying right now, and the bitch is lying. Okay, excuse my French, but this is dealing with Satan, and these are psychopaths, and I'm gonna prosecute them for that. 7VNG245. So like I said, and then walking outside the entity stalking by helicopter, which you saw on video, you can hear on podcast. That is, you can hear it on, while I'm standing out here, you can hear it on this podcast that I'm going to publish. But this is the same venue where the entity is keeping the fake sun, and do as I've already documented. Well, and yesterday, stalking by helicopter is not the first time the entity did that. I've documented that many times at the Fontana Lewis Library, stalking by helicopter, in conformity to the P.O.C. 8JHN644. It is the act of fear, okay? They're stalking me by helicopter because Satan is petrified, and you should be, because you're going to federal prison. And that is, let me be clear, Stephanie is in no way qualified, or excuse me, out of qualification for that. She is engaged in what is obstruction of justice. When you are getting down to what is the very threat to the life, and you want to threaten things like being inside of the library, when you are threatening my life, you are sexually violating, you are engaging in what is terrorism, you will go to federal prison. And this is the groundwork for what is the government that's using whatever it has at its resources to harass and to engage in ongoing monitoring. Kicking you out of the library is a means to cut off access to publish your documentation. I'm speaking on behalf of the ordinary target individual. That may very well be your only way to document. That's obstruction of justice, and the entity does this on purpose. That is what is Sean Thrasher is going to federal prison. Okay, and besides what is criminal summoning, a pattern of it. While, by the way, the fake sun's remaining over Fontana Lewis Library, he's going to federal prison. Okay, engaged in the pattern of conduct, was engaged in the pattern of conduct continuously. So while you're summoning the demon-possessed Ontario police, you're going to federal prison. Period. You're going. You are not going to interrupt what is the process and further threaten the life and the liberty of an American citizen that's documenting. You're the sex offender. I mean, it is absurd, the criminal conduct you're engaging in, and then you're going to try to stop them. You are going to violate them in every way and then try to put a muzzle over their mouth. No, you're going to federal prison for that. 8XNB443, and the entity engaging in what is providing evidence for what is the prosecution of Stephanie, who represents nothing other than the people to be prosecuted for what is ongoing terrorism in the state of California, and that is the people of the state of California. And I will also make what is, I would say, fit to size, personalized, if you will, with regard to my prosecution of Stephanie. Okay, she's acting on behalf of the entity, but Stephanie's the one stalking in the path and using a position that she has as a minion in a facilitating venue where she actually has no authority whatsoever. But I will prosecute her for engaging in what is terrorism and harassment on behalf of that entity for doing so, though. I'll prosecute her for that. Every word and every lie that she's uttering is serving to threaten my life while that government flies over by helicopter, and I'm going to run this tape and prosecute her with it. All right, it's the same with the demons of the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. While the entity provides that evidence, and you're talking about what is engaging in short-sighted, futile conduct, because you're going to be prosecuted with that. So who are you hurting? You're not hurting me. You're not hurting me. You're talking about what is big picture? The Ontario, excuse me, not the Ontario. Well, big picture, yes, Ontario, but I meant to say Fontana. The Fontana Police Department are under what is a light source engaging in surveillance and it's remaining for an excess of 10 hours in a day. Okay, they're being documented while I'm sitting inside of the Fontana Lewis Library. They're being documented. They're being prosecuted while an entity is stalking by helicopter. You're talking about you are in no way separate, or I mean, this is what I mean by delusional. So like I said, that is an all-black helicopter that you hear. The entity flies directly to my right. The fake sun remains over the Fontana Lewis Library, engaging in the pattern of keeping in alignment with me over, and that is aiming light onto the same exact position, going in the same opposite direction, meaning I walked north of Sierra Avenue. Now it's going south down Sierra Avenue, keeping in alignment with me, the same exact conduct, and that is impossible while the light source is captured directly over my head at 10:30 in the morning. It is still here, as you saw, also aiming light into the library. That is the maintenance of a light source. That's not the sun. While this demon going by the name of Stephanie with a straight face thinks she's going to threaten me and get away with that. All right. I don't know if she actually thinks she's going to get away with it, but she's not, and I'm going to prosecute her. And that's why I also speak the truth and call her a liar to her face. You go ahead and threaten me all you want. I'm going to stuff those words down your mouth. I'm going to prosecute you. License 4TIY565 7ZXV504. And you have what is the entity punctuating that prosecution while it engages in stalking in concert with Stephanie by helicopter. All right, that's to Stephanie's demise. All right, and this is how an entity, that entire system is imploding. You're hurting each other, and that's the reality of what is this system that's relying on group conduct. When that prosecution comes down, everybody's on their own. Okay? And everybody's going to be prosecuted for the conduct of the other. Oh, but it's going to be under your name. You're going to be prosecuted for the conduct of that entire entity. And while the entity continues to act, you're going to be prosecuted for that. All right? It is currently 6:14 p.m. 7 SUZ 360. 7 EE 4485 is the correct license plate. That's Maryland. I think I said 7 EEA 485. It's 7 EE 4485. 7 PVD 220. 8 YAG 380. 8 KOJ 001. 7 UEG 934, 8 EAF 8 EAF 316, and it's 6:14 p.m. 6 KJK 200. All right, license CEASELLESS, group stalking at the Fontana Chamber of Commerce. The same parking lot where I'm here at 8:30 in the morning, 8:56 in the morning, and the light source is in alignment with me, and they are group stalking. This is Satan sitting in a Corvette stalking, okay? In the same way Satan is flying a helicopter stalking. License plate. This demon has a directed light moving across his chest on the inside of the car. 8HVX501. That's a fat white male and a female in the passenger seat. And he crosses path on this side of the parking lot after I capture images of these demons sitting in the Corvette at the Fontana Chamber of Commerce. 8WPM 831. And they're all stalking with the government that flew over this parking lot by helicopter. License plate. Oh, I read that one already. Alrighty. 7Y. I can't listen to that one. You can scroll. 8RSM 419. Excuse me. 7EZL 104. 1590904. That's Omnitrans Route 312. It's one of the short buses, Omni Access. License plate 7ZCZ348. I'm sorry, 5YBF 850. These are minions who are engaging in stalking while I'm inside of the library, and this is why you're able to see what is directed light while I'm standing inside and showing you the through the window, the position of the light source. These are demons that are stalking with light while I'm inside of the library. RISHPUR 6XDP580 7YFT410 28775G3 5WPR396 7SVH088 8ZFZ112 SULTAN1 Arizona 33670S2. And again, that backward aiming directed light while they are under the same fake sun that's remaining all day long, 6SCF170. That is the demented and the asinine environment of the demon possessed, the living dead, a very living, stupidity. 7BIU831, 5ZKJ981, I believe, 8LRR065, 8FIX356, and by stupidity I mean there is no realistic way to engage in what is this conduct, which is entirely demented. You're under what's a fake sun that's been at the same intersection all day long. 7PNJ485, yeah, that's Satan. And you look entirely demented with that light activity trailing behind your car, showing you to be the obsessed stalker that you are. And these are the same ones that are concerned about what's going on with my panties in the bathroom, and that's exactly why they're going to be prosecuted. all right? As a sex offender that is at such a profound level, it's created under what is to be federal policy that does not yet exist, and this is a perpetual sex offender, all right? That is with regard to an acknowledgement of it is a sex offender that is the government. It is a sex offense that is ongoing while that state surveillance is perpetually underway, ceaselessly underway, cyclically underway, and underway in a multitude of fashions. Not only violation of the person, invasion of privacy at all places, including those where you should be maintaining the ability to have your privacy inside of any private residence, what's supposed to be a private residence, including a bathroom in a public establishment, 7 ADN 141. Including the molestation of your person with the engineered light, touching with the engineered light, your naked person inside of the private, all the ways in which they're sex offenders. 8VYL 394, 6DEH 439, 8YAB 569, 73063B2, 8ZOF 561, 8MAV 944, 4WBX 109, FP 113754, I believe. Well, FP are the small letters. Fontana Police, group stalking. Let me show you this. Maybe that's a little better. Alrighty, Fontana Police license plate 1475399. That's the pickup truck driven by a female. She's got neck-length brunette hair. And you have what is Jordan's professional touch immediately. And that's exactly what's going on. First of all, this is a deliberate environment. These are demons that are engaged in real-time monitoring. This demon tries to cover up their vehicle. That's how pathetic that they are. I don't need the license plate. I don't need it. Their entire department is being prosecuted, okay? But like I said, this is what they're doing, and they are stalking, and this is teamwork by a bunch of losers going out of their way, stalking with helicopter again, all right? I am the center of the universe by the demon possessed, the inferior, that want to know what's going on in my panties. It's going to be a prosecution. That's what's in my panties. 6NTL 672, 67595V2. And this one, Jordan's professional touch, CALJPT. CALIJPT or CALJPT. It is 6:21 p.m. and that's Fontana Police crossing path. They're participating in demonic activity. They're going to be prosecuted for terrorism, okay? While they are engaging in what is interstate stalking in that position of that condition. Monitoring documentation. 7WAZ 109, 8VNS 287, 6YFN 753, I believe. 7ZML 142, 8TQS 014, 4RLH 633. 5MJM 852. These buck teeth look like Asian. 8NSH 743. License, it's 6:22 p.m. License, can't really see that one, but let me get this one over here. Vehicle 71. License 8MVF 586. 7RLL 649, I'm sorry, BU91B63 is paper. 7ZGP 126. License 1452981 is Fontana Police. License CC08D58 paper, 8EZG 629, 8SPX 870, 7KZV 419, 6PJZ 524, 9ADE 168. 7ZCZ 348, 7XES 307, 7VEY 000, 7MOM 698, 8VHU 562, 8LWB 822, I believe. SANGKAY 7NLY 796, 7ZJB 886, 8W86267, 749OL handicap 1492641. That's Fontana Police. And this one is 21Y8608. Those motorcycles, while I'm standing on Sierra, you cannot hear inside of the Fontana Lewis Library. Alrighty, that's demonic activity. Those are demons who are engaging in what is targeting while they're being engaging in demonic activity together as one. In the same way, while they're driving by, lights not shooting upward into the library, that's demonic. That demons are on them, and what you would not be able to hear as to what they're doing, you can hear it while they're targeting. They're demons that are focusing, honing in on me. While there are demons driving by and lights not shooting upwards into the building on the first and second floor while they're driving by, they're demons that are targeting. 8DAY 834. It's also monitoring, but that's relevant to what is the ways in which a demon-possessed population is harassing them. 7DHF180. 12095R2. That's just understanding demonic activity. A demon getting on an elevator. You cannot hear that in the bathroom of the Upper Public Library or the Open Family Community Library, or, for example, the Fontana Lewis Library. For example, that's another one where you're looking at the structure of the building. It's across the room from the library, and then in addition to that, you're inside of the bathroom. It's a room in and of itself, and it's across the room, entirely separate. You're not sharing any wall. It's not some loud motor. You can't even hear it when you're outside of the elevator. The entity is engaging in what is demonic. That demon that's on that elevator is targeting you. That's demonic conduct. All right. The same thing they do with lights. What they do with that which is audible. That which was also sensational. Using a blender does not create. Not shaking your desk. You're understanding what's demonic activity. That's very real conduct, which you are able to document, and it is also that which is reasonably following. I'm showing you a demonic environment, the demonic tactics. There are people that are driving around with directed light all over the place. They're demons, all right, including Fontana PD continuously demonstrating that license 1603053. 2 males in the vehicle, operating communication devices, driving under the same fake sun where I'm documenting Fontana Police at 9:35 in the morning where the fake sun is in the same position, all right? And that's right here on this block where they're pacing back and forth with the rest of these demons. And it's 6:25 p.m. It is, let me see, I don't see any license plate on it. License plate, 57865S2. 7V00369, 8VDG533, 8SWP189. And it's not just during daylight under the fake sun, which is documentation of what are demons that are the Fontana Police. And they are also, with that regard, they're engaged in what is terrorism. That's exactly how that police department is going to be prosecuted. And then slicing down into what is the criminal conduct and facilitation that they engage in. But you have what is at nightfall documenting those demons as well. 7V00369, 8, oh, I read that one already. 8SWP189. And that's, for example, at the Stater Brothers at 8228, I believe, Sierra Avenue, where the entity is keeping that fake sun. Not today, though. Remained over me, stays over the Fontana Lewis Library. Did not go up to Stater Brothers. Why? Because I didn't go up there. 7UGW575. All right? In the same way that sunlight is never going to be touching the ceiling inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, inside of the Omnitrans bus, inside of the San Bernardino County Human Services Department, inside of the California DMV. That's not sunlight. 7KDV308, they're demons, including the Fontana Police Department, 1404991. And that's exactly how they're going to be treated at prosecution. And that law is no joke. You can be treated like a very dangerous threat that you are. And it's not a secret anymore. And you want to engage in criminal conduct pursuant to your demon possession. That's going to be relevant to your prosecution. License 1387339. Goodness gracious. This thing is hideous inside and out. License plate 8SAR052. She looks like she's got railroad tracks on her face. 7TAF436, 8DCH782. And it's 6:27 p.m. Fontana PD, I'm taking an image of that, 6:27 p.m. They're monitoring documentation. This is an ongoing communication of a threat while they're pacing back and forth, demonstrating demon possession and communicating a threat. In the same way the entity hovering over by helicopter, this is what the demons of the Fontana Police Department are doing while they are crossing paths visibly in your face. This is a threat to the ordinary target individual. You prosecute for that. That's relevant to the ways in which you're going to create federal law and deal with those demons of those positions. License 78VJ740. They're also facilitating criminal conduct amongst the people. This is a fat Latino male, 1475378, crossing path. License FNKBASS. I think I read that one. 7JJH796. License plate 93889Z1. 8DXF764, I believe. I'll get that in a second. 01561K2. This is license 8YXF764. 6157882. 6ZNW. I'm sorry, 6ZNM627. 6YHT196. 6DQV793. 6LHS908. Fontana Police 1603054. 7EFW819. BHOGAL1, I believe. 5WJU107, 6FWL598, 8MOX041, 8ZTH218, 8PFN, I can't see that one, 9ALV499, 8YDE292, 8PQZ884, 7SJN423, 3DLL16, 8NRE669, License 8ZNM256. And let me be clear, while the demon-possessed puppets that are the Fontana police engage in what is crossing in path, more so after I point out how a minion, a third party, because that's exactly what they did, covered up that minion that was driving the Fontana police pickup truck, then you have what is the pettiness of Satan repeatedly crossing path, and that is to suggest what is entirely irrelevant, and entirely irrelevant, suggesting, in other words, and this is literally, I've shown you what is the smallness of Satan, okay? Very small, and concerned about you're going to be prosecuted, you're going to be subject to a whole sentence in federal prison, but you have what is repeatedly crossing path, suggesting no third party is covering them up. 531-ZTX, this is relevant to what is knowledge as to every word that I'm uttering, and you are engaging in what is an impermissible threat. 64239S2, 8CSA957, 01561K2, 5PPX256, 7DAA278, 8D91731, 8ZKB392, 8VYA133, 8CTB141. They are crossing path under a light source that is over the same block where I arrived here as early as 8:38 in the morning at the Fontana Metrolink train station, just like I documented the other day. I believe it was the 6th. And I'm here on this block. The light source is still on the same block. These are demons. All right, and also you have what I'm documenting inside of the building of the grocery store, of the library. 65598H1. 6VXV025, 74607L2, 8CTS820, 7THZ348, 7FYS642, 8PNS035, 8WBV597, 9ACC633, 6WRD773, 7WAX587, 7SWW919, 8RMJ875, 7ZGL600, license 7AQF473. This is the same intersection where I'm showing you at 9 o'clock in the morning. Officer McMillan, who's going to federal prison, is engaging in crossing path with the same demons who are molesting with directed light now, directed light while I'm on the bus, directed light while I'm walking down the street, while I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, while I'm inside of the county building, while I'm inside of the DMV. Those people, that it's the exact same entity. Officer McMillan is group stalking at 9 o'clock in the morning where the fake sun is over the same exact intersection where it is right now, where those demons of the same police department are pacing, because that's what they're doing. They're demons that are acting together. They're repeatedly crossing paths. Satan is using a group of people at once, patrolling back and forth in this engineered light. This is surveillance, and it's also demonic activity. 3KHK597, and this is where you have what is the light source at 9 o'clock in the morning while I'm documenting the demons. That is going by the name of Officer McMillan, 8NWM291. All right, and as I already spoke to, you have what is not just Officer McMillan, who's a demon, who is demonstrating it by virtue of presence in that environment, and also engaging in what is crossing path. You're engaging in what is presence in that environment because you're of that condition, and it's a documented pattern. You're also doing so, which is indicating everyone else's condition. You're not the only one. 6C26077, 8YQV755. It goes for seeing directed light inside on the ceiling inside of the county building. It's not just the person whose head it's above. It's not just a couple of them. Every single last one of them are demons. You're surrounded by the living dead. So open your eyes and pay attention. And it is literally a hallmark. It's a telltale. It's letting you know, it's a signal with regard to, first of all, the condition of those. You're surrounded by a bunch of demons. Satan you're in the presence of evil. You're also what is subject to surveillance, and that's what's also relevant. All right, being around Satan, that's relevant because that's going to be prosecution for terrorism. All right, Satan likes to engage in what are things that are designed to terrorize you. Oh, you want to place somebody in surveillance and then try to freak them out too, and then try to falsely defame them? You go to federal prison for that. 8YXY349. You'll go to federal prison for that. Period. 2508-5G3. And when you are analyzing any threat, you are stalking with the government that's stalking by helicopters and airplanes and maintaining a light source over your head that's not possibly the sun. All manner of terrorism and stalking with this weird engineered light. That's how an ordinary target individual would describe you. I mean, I've made up a term for it, directed light. But that's all manner of what's terrorism. You are a part of that same exact threat in that same exact environment, and you are doing so while you're of the condition of the police department holding hands with these demons. You're not different. You're going to be prosecuted even more so. 8YZH327. Even more, well, not more seriously, because the people of the state, they have quite a prosecution. 7MQX407. But like I said, you're talking about what is removal from positions that the demon-possessed population have no business in. This is part of revealing what is public corruption. MOSERO. That's what that's relevant to. That's what that's also serving a purpose for. And that's what's going on with law enforcement in the state of California. All right. And yes, I've gone to Los Angeles. They're not an exception at all. I heavily documented them. I mean, identical pattern of conduct. I mean, spectacular documentation in Los Angeles. License 8DLK087, 75272P1, 8FYT484, 8K66532, 7NJS902. 6EYJ183, 8PVR316, 5WSZ756, 8MZK710, 7STU654, 8DOF333, 8USF585, 6PGM502, 5DTR201, 8JWN697, 7ZXH571, 8VQP078, 8TIJ034, BF21V12 paper, 8SMW7, I think I read that one, 36899T2, 7RAF696, 8GXS012, 835ZH handicap, 7VGZ907, BT73A44 paper, 8EBE076, 4EKE243, 8MNZ896, 8UGC380, 7YEX269, 6TFM719, 8MSC475, 8HPD075, 6K9T823, 8VFB968, 6EPZ105, Fontana Police 169240, I believe. I can't really see that one that clearly. But that's Fontana Police with the rest of these demons. Not different, all right? Just in a position that they are to be removed from. License 8HQS521, 7YBP163, 7KYV637, 7R91125, 8, I can't really see that one, 85462U1. Can't see that one either. 91894V1, 7W76919, 7WNC641, 7FWR071, 7M, I can't really see that one. 8WMG081, 6NPC266, and it's currently 6:37 p.m. MMN902, I believe. 8JCF053, if I did not read that one already. OSORI03, 8ACP759, 4SYE665, 8WKH161, 8TCT726, 8ZKB333, 8CBE655. License plate 8JBK782, showing you what are the demons of the Fontana Police and the people of the state, including Amazon Prime, who flies right over my head. Doing so under what is the fake sun and an engineered light, while Fontana Police are, again, these are demons who are engaging in surveillance with the people facilitating that, monitoring with, while ongoing documentation is underway. That's an impermissible threat while that demon is crossing path. That is the demon that is representing the police department. They're monitoring together. 6VMA305, 5DJZ857, 8ZAT956, 7RZX026, and that is, again, the same company engaging in group stalking using its airplanes, Amazon Prime.
All right, doing so, acting in concert with law enforcement, acting in concert with the rest of the people of the state who are maintaining presence all around me, and doing so at what is the same intersection as I pointed out in video where I am at 9 o'clock in the morning, the same intersection, Sierra Avenue and Arrow Boulevard. Again, it's 6:40 p.m. when I'm capturing this video. That is the P.O.C. And what else are you paying attention to? The light source is not in alignment with the Fontana Lewis Library, which that's not the sun anyway. But this is another angle where you're looking at what is clear stalking, following with the light source wherever I am. As impossible as that would be under any circumstances, you're seeing what's obsessive maintenance of presence around me. These demons with in custody of a child, 7BHE93L, stalking and monitoring and terrorizing with the government. 8PIN 183. It is currently 6:41 p.m. and that's a video that I just captured as I remain here standing at this intersection and capturing that video of that Fontana Police Department officer who is again acting with the rest of they're not different with regard to what is their condition. There's no respect to a person with regard to what are puppets of Satan. They're all demon possessed. They're in a demonic environment. They're acting together. But those are demons that are in positions that they have no business in. All right, those are demons that are going to be dealt with pursuant to that. And it's the same with the people of the state. There are those that are in positions when they're prosecuted, you're going to neutralize a threat that's existing in society while they're engaged in this. 8HLB900, 8JBW406, I believe. It is currently 6:42 p.m. 7EKH990, 8DJU748, 8AJN945, 6JWG519, Victor Valley Transit, Route 15, Bus 636, crossing path. Participating in the same demonic system, 1545464, I believe. That's Victor Valley, nonetheless, readily identifiable brand. 7FWJ638, because I didn't read that one. 29486U2, 8FPF235, 08644H2, 5GUW453, 8ZEN839, H2A5NF, Arizona, 7WJP155, DCA30SE, 7SBT865. Chino's Towing 55611F3 with directed light. License plate 19J9131. Bye. It is currently 6:43 p.m. That's a demon responding to his being documented. Alrighty, that's P.O.C. That's called audible activity. That's an impermissible threat by that demon whose license plate I just recited. That's a threat to your life while the government's monitoring you. All right, 8MUL749. And that's, understand, while they engage in the elements, that's a demon communicating hostility. The revving of the engine, that's audible activity under the fake sun. I'll prosecute for that, okay? 8JGD157, 8SXW319, 23306G3, 8RSM149. It is 6:44 p.m. You have what are police officers that are stalking you. You have what is the government stalking you by helicopter, 8UDS034. They are monitoring you with communication devices, and the people of the state like what I'm stating, because this is their pattern that they engage in. They like to engage in threatening as well, monitoring and helping, engaging in that. Full throttle, okay? And that's what that is accomplishing, by the way. It is criminal. It's criminal. Very, very serious. And you're prosecuting with that. You're going to prosecute by that. It's 6:44 p.m. 6GMR, I can't say that one. 8RLY819, 8YHS859, Omnitrans, license plate, 1479379, bus 1314. 7RNE433, 7ZCP566, 66391G3, 5FVY381, the number 8HAD336, 6RNF935, 8SDN137, 8XDE309, 8UPE226, 6EVW301, 34833T2, 8XLB446,
8YHH788, BU17X24 paper, 7YPE801, 7PMW950, 8JBK782. And this is license 47421C3, 72024S1, 6:46 p.m. (8FJA544), 7FBW343, 7NCE886, 7TNK785, 7ZJX770. Alrighty, license 83762S2. Group stalking at Valencia and Sierra, where the light source has moved south to keep in alignment with me. 7ZHS330. They are group stalking in relevant position. And that's the entity stalking by helicopter. That's the prosecution of the sheriff's department that I documented. The police department, they're stalking. The minions are working up inside of Stephanie, inside of the Lewis Library. These minions whose license plate I'm reading, that's the government that they're stalking with, 6UNB383. And that's a demon with access to a helicopter stalking somebody like myself, 85111Y1, BM48E94. That's a demon. Those are puppets of Satan in the position of the government, engaging in this terrorism with a helicopter clapping over me. This is the same entity that's engaging in conduct inside of a bathroom, stalking via these same minions who I'm identifying by license plate. Alrighty, capturing what is substantial video right now. The entity stalking by helicopter, more than one. You see two of them. And the entity engaging in what is taking a page out of the book of Los Angeles. And notice how I mentioned that a little while ago. Literally, this is how pathetic Satan is. And it is so sad because you're going to go to federal prison for that. But like I said, they're taking a page out of what is the book of Los Angeles, because that's what I documented, multiple helicopters over me. Let me be clear, that's a pattern. But nonetheless, pay attention to what I say, because literally this pathetic entity that is demon possessed listens to me. They take their lead from me. 8U24467, and that's also called stalking. They're literally following me, and they're following in a helicopter, and doing so in multiple helicopters, and doing so flying in a circle. That's a demon that's flying a helicopter. That's a demon that's focused on me. That's a demon that's going to federal prison. All right, and is speaking to, let me be clear, they are laying down what is the necessary established policy for what is federal prison for the people of the state. AVAJ345 is terrorizing and stalking and engaging in surveillance with that government. All right, flying down what's supposed to be the street of what is Fontana. This is not Compton. There is no shooting over here. This is ordinary routine stalking, where the entity is also following me by helicopter in the same directed light by night, at nightfall, stalking 24 hours a day by helicopter. All right, this is a specific pattern, and it is speaking to what is federal prison, 7XES307, and that includes the company that is Amazon Prime. That's exactly what they were doing, stalking just like the entity is now doing by helicopter. Amazon Prime to be held, and that's not the first time, and that is not the only company. I'm giving you an example. What you're looking at in video, Amazon Prime flies squarely directly above my head as I capture that video of that demon acting via the Fontana police. Let me be clear, the Fontana Police Department, these are demons who are executing vengeance by terrorizing by helicopter, because I captured. This is what Satan does. This is how pathetic it is. You're going to go to federal prison for that. And I'm laughing because this is sad. It's very circular. It's very circular with regard to what the entity engages in. You're talking about what's a dead end every way, every direction that you go. And by dead end, I mean you're going to federal prison, you're not getting out. All right, you see the threatening conduct by the entity. They were flying in a circle in relevant position in directed light. Directed light is on the Chirps Cocktails venue. That's not sunlight. And the entity is keeping it fixed. And as you saw at that intersection of Sierra Avenue and Arrow Boulevard, license plate 5DJZ857, group stalking at the village of Sierra, crossing path. And that those sirens are criminal summoning. So like I said, this is what the Fontana Police Department were doing. That's the light source that you saw in alignment with me at that same intersection where Officer McMillan is there at 9 o'clock in the morning, while that same light source, that's not possibly the sun, is in alignment with me. And then you have what is the entity taking cues from me, because I'm referencing Los Angeles, which is what Los Angeles did. They engaged in terrorism, multiple helicopters, and this is on more than one occasion. While I went to LA and documented the same conduct, what was absolutely impossible. There is no time where the entity, in other words, let me give you an example, there is no time where the entity is keeping a fake sun on the same street, which is what I documented again today, on the same street all day long, that the sun, because there's only one, is over the, for example, Metrolink, as it is going to what is the Los Angeles Union Station, where I got off at Alameda and Cesar Chavez, and I walked around Broadway and College, and I'm showing you what a video, the fake sun is directly over my head the entire time. There is no time where that light source is ever moving from remaining over me while I'm in Fontana. There is no time where this light source is ever moving from remaining directly over my head, which is necessarily to be the case if the actual sun, because it's not the sun, because it's never moving from over me and remaining over me and aiming into a building that I'm inside of for the duration of a day, which is exactly what I'm documenting right now. And the entity is keeping that light source over me, though, when I went to Los Angeles, over me while I'm on the Metrolink through the window, just like you see on the bus. And the entity was stalking by helicopters while I'm on the Metrolink, the same Metrolink that you hear participating in the pattern of conduct while I'm walking to this train station, while I'm inside of the Fontana Lewis Library or standing outside, and you hear the audible activity, that which is impossible. Just like you heard today, motorcycles inside of the library, you can't hear that inside of the library. All right, those aren't paper thin walls. That is a very well built structure. That's the pattern of what is amplified audible activity. It's demonic. Those are demons. And while the entity engages in that conduct, it is following suit, as I, first of all, gave the signal. I mentioned Los Angeles, and then you have them. And I'm not, this is nothing good. It's pathetic. I'm just pointing out to you, not only is this entity a stalker, you're dealing with what is Satan, who is very small, very petty. All right, you have what is a pickup and stalking activity that you're going to be prosecuted for, because I pointed out how another third party was covering you up, which is exactly what they were doing. All right, and then you have the demons, the very small-minded demons that they are, repeatedly crossing paths, which is criminal conduct. I'm documenting. You're going to go to federal prison for that. And then you have what is the entity stalking in multiple helicopters, which is what Los Angeles did, as I documented them in 2020. All right, and did so under what is the fake sun, and it's mutually exclusive. It's not both remaining over me in Fontana, California, all day over the building, specifically over the building, all right, but also over the grocery store if I go to the grocery store on Sierra Avenue, but it remains on Sierra Avenue in between Spring Street and Orange Way until I get on the bus and leave. And but again, that's only Friday through Sunday. Excuse me, that's only Monday through Thursday, because no, I'm right, Friday through Sunday, because that's when the library closes early. When I stay in the library after 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday, that fake sun stays right there in alignment with the library. Fontana Lewis Library. There is no time in that schedule, in that conduct, where it's ever over Broadway and College, as I documented, in Los Angeles, where the entity was stalking in that same manner that I just captured on video by multiple helicopters. That's a pattern, a very unique one. And those officers who I've documented, I've named them, but let me be clear, that's documentation of the Fontana Police Department. It is documentation of the people of the state. They are equally engaging in what is terrorizing, threatening conduct. Terrorizing, threatening your life, stalking with multiple helicopters. That's going down to what is, first of all, the company Amazon Prime. You're not hiding behind any logo name. I don't need to see the face of that demon flying that plane over my head under the fake sun, in concert with the demons that are flying in helicopters around me on behalf of the government. I don't have to see that. You will be going to federal prison. You will be holding companies accountable for what is criminal activity by a government. And as I'm documenting the pattern of conduct, that's exactly speaking to what is that necessary policy, what the government's relying on, the criminal activity of companies such as Amazon Prime, entirely demented, using a whole airplane to fly over my head. And that's exactly what you're doing under what is not possibly the sun. That's the same intersection where that light source is in alignment with me, where it's there at 9 o'clock in the morning. And that's just using Officer McMillan of the Fontana Police Department as an example. Okay, because I'm there before even 9 o'clock in the morning, and the light source remains directly over me. Okay, this is the entity that's keeping a fake sun all day long over one street. That's not the sun that was remaining over me while I went to Los Angeles, as I documented on more than one occasion. And the entity engaged in what is welcoming with multiple helicopters. They're going to federal prison for that. That was the Los Angeles Police Department. That remains part of the record. All right, that is speaking to what is the ongoing criminal activity. I documented many demons by license plate, but it's not limited to that. I'm going to prosecute the state of California. The people of the state of California are a sex offender. The people of the state of California, and I'm speaking it in those terms because you're talking about what is conduct on behalf of the entity. The entity is a sex offender. The entity includes the people of the state of California. The people of the state of California are a sex offender while they're engaging in that conduct. That government that's stalking by helicopter is monitoring while my panties are down, stalking in the bathroom. They are relying on the people of the state who are demons stalking in bathrooms. Okay, literally. And that's how pathetic they are. As pathetic as you are following me in a helicopter, using all those resources for me. And why? Because you're scared to death. Because of all the documentation that I can go down a list of off the back of my hand with regard to all the ways in which I'm going to prosecute you, what's already been documented, how it's insurmountable. It's actually fear that Satan is showing, but that is actually translating into what is unthinkable, unfathomable, and absolutely reprehensible violation of a human being's rights as a person, okay, humanity, but also your constitutional rights. All right, so you're talking about what is fear, but that's terrorism. Okay, I don't care how fearful you are. You're not going to threaten an American citizen with that sort of conduct. You are going to federal prison. I want to speak in very frank terms, but I'll keep it professional for those who are listening to me. You're very zero nonsense, no tolerance for that. You're going to federal prison for that. Okay, and the entities that you're listening to, Stephanie, that as I'm capturing this video, I'm documenting that minion right now. That overweight minion that was sitting in the library, stalking with directed light, and then engaging in what is harassment while she can't even make up a lie, and I'm calling her out on it while she's monitoring with that government that's stalking by helicopter. That's why you go to federal prison for that. That's not a small thing when you want to engage in what is threatening while you're documenting a government that's engaging in that conduct. That's why it's not a small thing. There is the bigger, greater context. That's a threat to engage in impeding upon what is a legal process of documenting the government that's surveilling you. You don't have a right to do that. You'll go to federal prison, including when it's by engaging in what is monitoring inside of the neighborhood library where surveillance is underway on behalf of that government, and you want to try to what is abuse your position, which you don't have any authority to be stalking on behalf of the government. You don't have any authority to kick somebody out while you want to engage in obstruction of justice. You don't have that right to do that. That's why you go to federal prison for that. And that's exactly what is the documentation that I just gathered right now while I'm showing you the Fontana police, the people of the state, all of them literally goofy looking demons under what is a fake sun. That's here at as early as 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's still here. And where is it? In alignment with me while the entity's stalking by helicopter. Oh yeah, that's P.O.C. It is currently 7:02 p.m. and that's video documentation that I just captured, and I'll be publishing that as soon as possible. This is bus 2351, Route 61. And this is African-American male operating this bus, crossing path in doing so, creating light activity. Route 10 is also a crossing path, bus 1261. And UPS crossing path as well at the Village at Sierra community. And all of them, by the way, monitoring on an ongoing basis. This is different methods of what are, not even different, because UPS is frequently crossing path. These are companies engaged in state surveillance. You're talking about what is alternating methods of presence on a constant basis. It's the same entity that is stalking, okay, and doing so on behalf of that state. So it's currently 7:03 p.m. And this is license plate, by the way, 1545811.
He has a big blue walker.
This is operation of a communication device.
Sitting on it. So send a supervisor over there so that he can check out the guy. He's still there.
Okay, so anyway, he's monitoring, and this is operation of a communication device in relevant position. This is, again, bus 2351, and that's the license plate. It is currently 7:04 p.m. This is P.O.C. at the Fontana Metrolink train station. Again, where I'm capturing that video, it's right there in front of third-party facilitating meaning Village at Sierra, and the entity is monitoring. It's not just where I'm standing at that property. You're talking about what is the entirety of that entity in relevant position. The same location where I'm at on this same street in the morning, and the entity is keeping a fake sun right over my head. And while I'm walking on Sierra Avenue, the light source is keeping in alignment with me while I'm walking back down the same street, Sierra Avenue. And so that's what you were paying attention to, while the entity is also revealing the fact that it's a stalker doing so by helicopter, which is incriminating the people of the state who are stalking and monitoring with that same exact government. All right, it's currently 7:04 p.m. This is P.O.C. 7YMW489, and it's 8:15 p.m. and the African American who is monitoring engaging in an ongoing molestation. Directed light on the back of the bus. I'm sitting in the last row of the bus, and the entity's aiming directed light across these seats and touching me while I was uploading my podcast and uploading images of the Fontana Police Department. You can see the demon in screenshots. I took, I zoomed in on his face, but like I said, I don't even need that. But I'm revealing the identity, and I'm doing it in a personalized manner with regard to those who are engaging in this reprehensible criminal system and this demonic activity. What their condition is, they're a bunch of demons, and this is their true condition. And it's also teaching with regard to what has nothing to do with any race or age or what it is you do for a living, with regard to that condition of what is demon possession. And as I'm publishing that information, the entity engaging in that light conduct, which is, heavily documented on Omnitrends. And so this is what I'm subject to. This is employee number 3511, the African-American male, who indeed you hear in operation of a communication device while he's talking about some other scenario. It's a means of audible activity creation. He's monitoring 8SJH800. And that's upon my presence at what is the Metrolink train station. And you hear him talking, he's all hyped up and energetic. Call the super, but that demon is monitoring, okay? And that's all that they're consumed with while a fake sun is in alignment with me at the Fontana Metrolink train station. And he's monitoring while he's been driving this bus with the people of the state. And it's currently at 8:17 p.m. License 8SBP545. We're at campus in Hope Boulevard in Ontario. It's 8:19 p.m. Employee 3511 stopping at Lemon and Holt, because this is where I'm supposed to get off, and this demon stops in anticipation of that. I don't request any stop, and neither did anybody else. But I just want to document that, and you'll see that on surveillance cameras. These demons are stalkers, and they're stalking as an entity. And I just want to document how he stops at Lemon and Holt, and I don't get off the bus. What was he going to say? Oh, he's stopping for a arrest. I'm not even going to fill in the blank with whatever form it is. This is a stalking entity, and he's stopping at a bus stop where nobody requested any stop and nobody's there as his form for stopping there either. And that's because I didn't get off the bus, and I didn't request to stop either. It's currently 8:19 p.m. We're going past Holt and Euclid Avenue. This is employee 3511. All right, license 1545811. That's bus number 2351. Engaging in the pattern of conduct in concert and on behalf of the state. That's employee 3511. License 8RKU 847. And molesting 6YXF177 molesting, and so is the Ontario Police Department, who crossed path driving north on San Antonio right now as I get off the bus. 8TFR 807, and that is textbook group stalking conduct. It is 8:22 p.m. 8NKS 540, I believe. License plate 8UUW 703. 21794W2 and vehicle 1823. This is license plate 1462883, molesting. And so are these minions in the drive-thru. They're at third-party facilitating venue Econ and El Pollo Loco. 8DHS 152. And license plate 5JAV037. License 5AUU214. All Alrighty, it is currently, by the way, 8:24 p.m. That is El Pollo Loco inside of the, what? Huh? I'm not talking to you. Maybe you should serve them food. Mind that. I'm over here. Okay. Anyway, they're molesting at El Pollo Loco. 8K66276. It is currently 8:24 p.m. and the entity is aiming a substantial directed light where those employees of El Pollo Loco are in the drive-thru. Again, that's directed light, not headlight. CC13U28. It's the same stalking with light conduct. That's not going to change. And they're aiming it while I'm documenting the minions in the drive-thru of the El Pollo Loco, while the employees are focused on me rather than serving food to the minions in the drive-thru. They're all stalking. All right, license. Let's see. And again, Starbucks is monitoring, 706 West Hall Boulevard. Tom's Burgers is monitoring. Ontario Village Shopping Center is monitoring. That is 5C41219, I believe. Yeah, that's the license plate. And that is demonic pacing by the Ontario Police. They drive by the moment I get off the bus, and then they cross path again, coming back to the same intersection in the opposite direction. So driving north on San Antonio, and then seconds later driving south in a vehicle that's pacing in directed light. This is demonic activity. 8 LOP 747. License 7JTY 584. It's 8:25 p.m. Yeah, and that is 5C41219. That's a correct license plate. 26521M2. These are all sex offenders, including El Pollo Loco inside of the village. This is the entity that's monitoring. Heart NCLN. And it is 8:26 p.m. and this is the heavily documented entity acting via the city of Ontario in San Bernardino County. This is the government that's monitoring in this region. 7BTC390. As you're witnessing what I'm doing, as I'm documenting the same exact entity as I'm going from city to city, it's the same government. This is state surveillance. 8ECU172, 6JTT675, 51719E1, 8TGOZZE, I believe. 8TGOZZE, yeah, that's correct. License plate 6DLL142, 8NFC586, 6L32805, 8MZW990, 8YIR531, CC13U28, paper, 8THD430, 5CEZ319. I already read that one. 8WZN676. Alrighty, that is molestation. Yes?
I want to park right here, that's why.
Hi. Oh, you work at El Pollo Loco?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a sex offender. She's in her vehicle. This is the license plate. She's molesting with light. 6DLL142. 8TFJ181. 7AUX135. She's engaging in this demonic orgy. They're sitting around in the parking lot aiming lights. That's the pattern of conduct. 85045G2. 6AHR748. 8MEB432. 8STZ094. Again, as I've documented all the license plates inside a Golden Bear Inn in that parking lot, which is in relevant position, they're monitoring as well. I'm sorry, not just in that parking lot, but at that venue. But demons participate. You just come out your hotel room and turn your vehicle lights on, stalking in the path with light. That's how demons are engaging in stalking with light, surrounding in the perimeter with light. That's what they're doing in this parking lot. 84301V2. 6FYK161. 6LYP143. 8VHK473.
04239D2, 6YVC560, 4SOF041. Yeah, I read that one already. 8UFD370. And by the way, this is the Ontario Village, where there is at no time of the day any light source over this Ontario Village parking lot, over the entrance, hovering right over the doors as I walk in and out of it, remaining over the parking lot while I'm in Fontana as of 8 o'clock in the morning. While I go that direction, there's no time where the light source is going to deviate and be present, and it's not present at the same time. So you're understanding what has been the pattern of conduct that I've been documenting for a very long time, and these are indeed sex offenders. 8XKB385, 50622J2, 042392, Union Pacific, a sex offender, creating a soundtrack while molestation is underway. 5KVK711, it's also harassment by an entity, engaging in amplified audible activity, stalking with audible activity. 7SVD762, 7TRG673, 5JUD092, stalking with light is this demon, 6LYP143, who's pacing around and then using their headlights to stalk in the path of light. 8YIP513, 8LOF261, 8VEP569, 8CTC079, 4JTY584, 8BXY907, 8WTC868, 5RLT040, 14129U1, 8VWN246. All right, and that what I'm describing to you, that is indeed the case, because even as I am sitting at the bus stop of the Golden Bear Inn, where do you see that fake sun? It's right over me. It's not over the parking lot. It's not relative to what would be seen as, oh, that was the sun that I did capture on video directly over the Habit restaurant over Ontario Village while I was standing at the Stater Brothers. And so at around that time, while I'm at the bus stop that's across the street from that Ontario Village, it would be relative. No. It's not relative to that general location. It's right over my head, sitting at the bus stop that is adjacent to the Golden Bear Inn. That's stalking with light, and doing so at what is a time where I am at the same time in a different county, that is Los Angeles. That's what I documented. 8DFU369, and it is occurring on an ongoing basis while I remain in Fontana and do not come anywhere near Stater Brothers. Again, essentially Monday through Saturday. 8XKB385, I think I read that one already. And that's just as of late, okay, as I've been going to Fontana. The entity is engaging in what is stalking with the light source. That's what I'm showing you when I go to Rancho Cucamonga and I go to Fontana later in the day. When I go to Fontana early in the morning and the fake sun is over me, how is it over the California DMV in Rancho Cucamonga? Over the parking lot, not just there, but over my head. It's very, very specific. It's over the building, it's over me, but then you're also looking at what's direct light inside of on the ceiling. I'm reaching across. Yeah, there's no question about what is the P.O.C. It's already captured. These are sex offenders, and all the ways in which you're going to prosecute what is entirely demented. BIGOZZE. That's a license plate, and I believe that that's different from what I saw on the back of his car. BIGOZZE. And on the back of his vehicle, it says, okay, BIGOZZE, just making sure. Alrighty, it is currently 8:32 p.m. And this is Ontario Village that's engaging in a massive molestation. These are sex offenders. They're manifesting light. It's not headlights that's reaching across the street while they're turning onto, for example, San Antonio. And then the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department, they're pacing up and down the street while that molestation is underway. They're monitoring, and their demons engaging in that same conduct, stalking with the rest of them, right, with the same exact government, stalking by helicopters, stalking with law enforcement, stalking with light, all right? And they're acting as one entity. So I just want to make sure I read a lot of their license plates. Let me get this demon over here.
Oh, I think they dance for like a good chunk of it. Like they do dance off for all after.
License 7VOV754 and RAYNIC1.
Eli, excuse me, put it this way. Eli saw me.
And this one right here, 51719E1, stalking and loitering in relevant position, aiming light, just keeping their headlights. They're stalking in the parking lot. They all are, but I'm just letting you know they're just maintaining presence, have been since I entered the parking lot, and they're aiming light. That's manifestation of light. That's loitering. It is stalking in the path with light, and it's on behalf of an entity. This is 8DFU369, a sex offender. This is an overweight Latina female who is touching.
and that is, again, at Ontario Village, and I do have multiple shadows. That's a sex offender. I want to be clear, it looks like she is in custody of a young child, too, while she's engaging in this demonic conduct, this sexually violent conduct with the government. It is currently 8:34 p.m. I'm on surveillance cameras inside of Stater Brothers right now. I'm referencing the camera. The African-American security guard with dreads, he's monitoring. P.O.C. Alrighty, license 50622J2. And that minion is in line in front of me on surveillance cameras at inside of the grocery store of Stater Brothers. And he's stalking with activity as I walk outside. Then he gets in his truck and starts ignition. This is how they stalk with activity. 7RME602, 8ZSX918, 7VRB265, 88188M1, 8VYX725, 8JFV430, 8HLY291, 4DKW904. That's called stalking with audible activity. That's exactly what they're doing inside of the grocery store. They follow you around with noise. That's harassment by an entity engaged in federal stalking. 7TWF761, and that's inside of Stater Brothers, by the way. That's why I want to document. 5RLT040. While they're molesting, stalking with noise. This is what the demon-possessed do. We'll be prosecuting them. License 8LOF261, monitoring with habit, coming out of the drive-thru in order to molest with light. Third-party facilitating venue, Habit Restaurant. It is 8:58 p.m. and completing my purchase at approximately 8:55 p.m. and that is all on surveillance cameras. And I also document it myself, which is what I'm publishing on my website, but on to the internet, onto YouTube videos and whatnot. I am publishing my own documentation, but surveillance cameras, and more than just inside of the venue where I'm at, surveillance cameras are everywhere. And with regard to prosecuting an entity, that is going to be heavily used for the prosecution of a government that's engaging in this method of what is a surveillance through a people. 6 DOG 751. And what you'll notice, and this is common sense, there are things that the entity is doing, which is being documented on surveillance camera, which has an ongoing context, even outside of what is out Ontario Village Shopping Center, what they're doing around the corner, what they are doing in traffic. It is relevant to what is where I am, and as they are doing it, it's demonic activity. 06098E3. Surveillance cameras are very, very crucial with regard to capturing all that criminal conduct, that facilitating conduct. 8NZM008, 7WIC444, 8MOW535, 8H83560, 78233J1, 8SMH777, 5XMB156, 8SZN481, 7WZH638, coming out of DD's. Discounts, monitoring. License 7SHS940, 76189R2, 5SPS076. BN05H04 paper. And license plates 8F8 8F80416. License plate 8ZOND66, molesting. 8VCW848, 8FUR204, molesting. 7TAP596, 62011F2, 6DOG751, 8SUM719, 244 NGW, Oregon. 8UVK891, 6ZYV670, stalking with activity. As I begin reciting their license plate, foot is already on the brake, all right, and starting their car. That's a demon that's stalking and is paying very close attention. 8JAM985. That's entirely pathetic, but you're understanding what's the pattern of conduct, though. These are stalkers. 8TZJ863, 8WYW156.
8XNR611, 8XNR610. Those are two license plates parked adjacent to each other outside of Panda Walk, third-party facilitating venue, which I believe they'll be getting deported out of this country. It's worthy of that. They're monitoring right now. They're in this country monitoring an American citizen, and I'm going to prosecute them for it. 8ZON066 is molesting, engaging in terrorism, and doing so while children in custody of children, engaging in that terrorizing conduct with the government, engaging in that terrorism, engaging in that sexual violence, taking time out of their life in order to do that, not prioritizing the safety of a child. That's putting those children at risk, and you're threatening the life of another while you're doing it, and going out of your way to do so. They're all monitoring documentation. All right, so like I said, it is currently 9:02 p.m. That is also inclusion of minors in that pattern of conduct. Remember, presence is the crime. You are participating with children, engaging in that criminal system with the government. 8HYP174, 5TQN010, 8CWC990, 49989K3, and it is 9:02 p.m. 7KRP401, and capturing on video at 9:03 p.m. the entity stalking by helicopter. This is the same exact entity stalking from place to place by helicopter, and like I said, like I continue to say, because this is literally what is the fate of the demon possessed. I said it before I was provided with. I said it before I even had any documentation whatsoever. I'm going to prosecute this entity, and that's exactly what the evidence is providing for. It is already provided for. I'm actually also now just explaining what is demonic activity, because these are the times that we are in. And so this is a matter of what is not concealed, and it is for the purposes of general knowledge, not only your life, but with regard to what is actual crimes that the government is engaging in, and it's entirely of Satan. And Satan is a real entity. It's not a myth. And that is also something, regardless of whether one wants to acknowledge it or believe it or call it whatever, that demonic, that darkness, that wicked, that twisted entity is present, and it is that which you cannot deny. Well, you can deny the entity called Satan all you want, or evil, or the devil, or whatever you want to call it. You can deny that all you want. You're free to do what you're in the United States. Allegedly, we're free. All right, but like I said, the actual laws that are in the book are going to be used to actually prosecute this government, who was stalking from place to place by helicopter, which is what I just captured again on video. And that is speaking to what is the necessity of both understanding the groundwork for what is absolutely necessary as a matter of justice under federal law that has not ever contemplated what is criminal surveillance by a government. It's been denied. It's been maintained as a fallacy. Those are disregarded upon, perhaps, you're alleging it, but you can't prove it. Or those that are perhaps speaking on something because this is not a new notion. This isn't new. This is not new. The government is doing this for ages, but you're talking about what is a matter of time with regard to revealing what has been done in darkness. And so I am standing in what is directed light. You can see three shadows around. There's a very faint one, a very dark one behind me. And then it's like they change in concentration. All right. With regard to my shadows, that's what I'm talking about, what I captured on video. And, but I have multiple shadows. I have three around me on the sidewalk while the entity is stalking. And that is exactly what it's doing in that specific environment, which is the case while I'm at the museum, and the entity is stalking in the same specific environment, directed light, in Fontana, while the entity is stalking as an entity who I documented tons of them today in concert, pacing, license. I can't see that license plate. 5TYS 489. They're demons that are driving in opposite directions on Bonita. And at the Ontario Plaza Apartments, they're monitoring the entirety of the Ontario Village Shopping Plaza. The license plates, all of them that I just read, including coming from the library, going to the library. This is an ongoing pattern of conduct. And like I was stating, this is understanding the groundwork for what is, first of all, demonic activity, which you need to know. You need to know about, and it's not about what you want to believe anymore. You're talking about what is irreducible evidence that you cannot deny, scientific facts that everyone can agree on, and you can meet on those facts. Those are facts. Now, with regard to understanding those facts, these are truths that perhaps will reconcile what has
for the most part, been a matter of what one chooses to regard or disregard in your own personal belief. 8F80416, and that's with regard to the demonic environment, the natural conduct of light. And that which is impossible to naturally occur is a reference to, it is witnessing, it is the demonstration of that which is indeed of the demonic. And it is directly indicative of the condition of those that are in that environment around you. All right. And they are engaging in what is entirely criminal. And that's also why it is necessary with regard to acknowledging demonic activity. And this is relevant to what is in no way any freedom in this country to be of that condition and both target another. And that's what the demon-possessed are doing. The demon-possessed population are not just freak weirdos who are damned to hell. They are engaging in what is a criminal system that for so long is maintained as an unspoken one, as though it is non-existent, as the, that this is an unspoken system, and it is. You're talking about obsessive with regard to not speaking of it. You're talking about when you are surrounded with evidence. That's clearly not the sun over you. That's clearly not sunlight bouncing on the roof of a bus, and these demons just look to the left, okay? And that's all that you can do. It's unspoken, all right? But like I said, you don't need a demon to speak anything, and they can be as silent in federal court as well because the prosecution is done, all right? They're going to be prosecuted, and you don't have a legal argument, and you're surrounded with that which is insurmountable evidence that you can't even confront it. But it's evidence, it's there. You explain it, you cannot explain it. And the reason, and that's relevant because you're talking about what is demonic. This is darkness. All right, this is contrary to what you have been told. And it's really about that which you are fully capable of knowing in totality based on merely paying attention. All right, taking things for granted because it's something that you were told about in school. All right, and your teacher was a puppet of Satan, okay, a minion. Scientists telling you stuff about the sun, showing you pictures about the in the galaxy, talking about the sun, and I'm showing you what is documentation, which I cannot alter. I can't. You're talking about I'm uploading videos from a cell phone and putting them up on the internet, and the literal name is the timestamp that I'm capturing it, and I cannot control what's in the sky over my head. I can't do anything with it. All I'm doing is capturing the information and I'm publishing it to the masses for you to know. And so you have what is impossible to be that which we are told about, this environment that surrounds us, and it is the demonic. So if you cannot define that, if you don't know how to refer to that, if you don't believe, it's not a matter of what you believe, it is exactly what it is. All right, that which is impossible, that which you can't reconcile with what you understand to be, for example, the environment around you, or the sun, or the scientific rules that are, the scientific facts that surround what would be the conduct of this environment. And I'm showing you that which is defying not only those scientific facts, but you're talking about what it defies common sense. Okay, the light conduct that I'm showing you, it's straight out of hell. So that is the explanation for it. And I'm not sorry. The reality is that does not rely on whether you want to accept it or not. It just is. That's exactly what it is. It exists in and of itself, regardless of one's willingness to accept it as so. Okay? And so this is what I have published, which is information that is freely available. And it is with regard to what is also relevant, which is the prosecution of the demonic. Okay, and that's essentially what this is. And it is in no way any church service. Okay, this is the law. This is the law that is addressing what is absolutely demented, and that translates into what is terrorism. While you're subject to what is criminal conduct, it is surveillance, and it's by government. And that's why that government is flying over me on Bonita at after 9 o'clock at night, and following me in what is a specific environment. I have multiple shadows on the ground. That is a reference to the demonic, by the way. A normal, ordinary street lamps do not create multiple shadows around you. And that is also impossible to be any sort of coincidence, as I have hundreds of video documentation showing what is that environment that surrounds me everywhere that I go. That's not a coincidence. And you're witnessing what is demon possession, what is of the demonic, and it is that which is shown through an environment that you're surrounded by. All you're doing is paying attention.
That's all you're doing, opening up your eyes, not sleeping, not walking around sleep, waking up, wake up. So you're talking about what is a prosecution for what is criminal conduct, and it is criminal conduct by a government. And that entity is following from place to place and doing it as an entity. And that is why you're listening to me document hundreds of thousands of the people of the state, because I am prosecuting those who I have not even encountered in the state of California. This is establishing what is legislation and what is understanding a precedent to prosecute the people of any state where that government is placing you under surveillance, and where the government is doing that, it's doing it with the people. Okay? And you are not going to have to travel up and down the state in order to establish the prima facie case for federal group stalking and monitoring, which is a satanic system of targeting in violation of existing federal law. And it is speaking to what is demon possession by every single last person, and there is no exception whatsoever. And that is also demonstrated in the environment that remains around you at all times, day and night. All right, and that is terrorism in and of itself. But like I said, you're talking about what is the prosecution for an entire people. In the same way that an entire people is targeting you, you are flipping that whole criminal intention, because that's the intent behind that, and they're going to be subject to what is a prosecution. License plate 8JRM530. Fiesta Motors facilitating light activity at Laurel and Hope Boulevard, flashing light. It is currently 9:15 p.m. and they're monitoring at Sam's Liquor. Of course, you hear them crossing the path. They're stalking. My shadow is at a distance away from me in the street. In addition to what is a shadow in front of me, this is demonic, and what Fiesta Motors is doing is terrorism. Flashing a light, that's called facilitation. I'll shut down your business. Okay? You capture a video of that. The government doesn't have the right to do it, and that's exactly what you're facilitating. You can claim you know or not. All I'm going to do is document. I'm going to prosecute you. 5WVV165, I believe. Sam's Liquor. And license 8YQY953. License 9066 7V1, I believe. License 8YQY953. This is like a short little Latino male. He walks into Sam's Liquor. He's crossing path and molesting the whole time with headlights. V270YO. So I am, as you can tell, I'm walking on Hope Boulevard and I'm documenting. And so I'm speaking to the significance of the video. Another video of the entity stalking by helicopter. That's daily. I've been documenting that for years. But you have what is, again, so profound and beyond any chance of any coincidence. And so again, like I said, you're talking about what is a prosecution by the government, which is already complete. This is understanding what is in no way unjust whatsoever. It is necessary as a matter of justice. The people of the state, every single last one of them, are justly subject to what is a prosecution on behalf and in concert with the government that is engaging in surveillance through them. And the government is doing that by maintaining an environment, and this is literally via demonic inclusion. All right, it's through the demonic provision. The environment itself, you cannot, and no government actor can control what is the environment that surrounds us. So you're understanding what is, first of all, very real, a demonic entity, Satan itself, whatever you want to call it. Satan is real. Satan is present through not only the environment as you're witnessing, a demented environment, the presence of evil. That's what the environment is revealing, an unnatural one, okay, and a demented one. You can see it through what is light activity, crooked shadows. You're talking about what are multiple shadows. You're talking about what is light on a ceiling. Inexplicable light just appearing, as I've shown you. All you're doing is paying attention. That's how you're witnessing what is the presence of evil. And it is also present through people. That a demonic entity is present through people, and they are referred to as what are demon possessed. They have the spirit of Satan on them. They have an evil spirit on them, whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't matter how they are outwardly acting. They can have a smile on their face while they're engaging in evil, unbeknownst to you. They're placing you under surveillance. They're threatening your life. Okay? And they're doing it on behalf of a government, in concert with the government. Preferably without your knowledge.
once you are documenting it and they're continuously, that's when I'm showing you all the ways in which you're going to prosecute, all the ways in which that prosecution is further enhanced. And it's already a very serious and severe prosecution in the first place because it's government conduct, and you're going to strike that very seriously with regard to what is the government placing American citizens under surveillance and threatening your life and threatening your liberty, taking your property, engaging in all manner of just lawlessness because it's a government, and then because the government doesn't want it to be known what it's doing. Oh, so you're going to be very, very, very severe with regard to zero tolerance in all the ways in which the entity wants to obstruct justice. License 4ZIL 507. And they're monitoring at Sam's Liquor. This is a facilitating venue. Fiesta Motors is creating light activity. And the demon possessed, again, they're manifesting light while they're driving on Hope Boulevard. That's the same P.O.C. when I walk up and down Euclid Avenue from Upland. And their headlights fanning onto the sidewalk, fanning across. They're demons. They're manifesting light. All right, so this is documentation that you are already aware of. The pattern that you're already aware of, and that's exactly what they're doing. License 4SUA 318. License 7ZXG070, 7EG0753. And it's 9:20 p.m. So this is with reference to that particular video coming out of Ontario Village Shopping Center. And after, again, I'm documenting the people of the state, the entity shows up in what is a specific environment. You're stalking, first of all, because it's beyond a coincidence that you're talking about an American citizen having video documentation while helicopters flying over me everywhere I'm going, flying around me everywhere I'm going. But not only that, it's even more narrow than that. The entity is doing so in a specific environment. My shadow is surrounding me while, again, I'm capturing another video of the government flying around me by helicopter. All right. And the entity is amplifying audible activity of a helicopter while you're flying around me. In that regard, the entity is targeting as well. All right. Wants to fly off at a distance like they want to appear as though they're doing something else. They're not stalking. All right. But the amplified audible activity is demonstrating otherwise. You're stalking. That's the pattern of conduct. And that's what I captured on video. And so the entity is stalking from place to place in a very specific environment and has been doing so as a matter of documentation for a term of years. And this is the same government that is stalking in bathrooms. All right, that's a violent sex offender. This is the same government that was stalking today and does so after I'm documenting the people. That's exactly what the entity did as I documented the Fontana Police Department. Okay, got really, really mad and then started flying in a flurry of helicopters over me. And guess what? They're going to federal prison for it. All right, and the people of the state that are documenting in relevant position posing that threat with that government, guess what? All right, and that's exactly why you don't want to be documented. License plate 300ZX. No, I don't think that's a license plate because I think that's the name of the car. Let me get the back license plate. Yeah, 1SFA283. That's what it says. That's the type of a car, the Z. Anyway. It's 9:22 p.m. But you have what is, let me see, 5YZF353 crossing path. And the entity maintaining presence, this is probably the demons of the city of Ontario. They're stalking on the same side of the street as I'm walking on the sidewalk, stalking in the path with light. That's facilitation. It's probably very much likely the municipality. I will see right now, stalking in the path with light, just sitting on what is near the Metro 102 Apartments parking lot. You know, the brick wall with the directed light. There is no form. They're stalking. Oh, no, it's even better. It's security paving. They're going to be going to federal prison. License plate. Let's see. No license plate. That was security paving, and it's got scorpion on the back of it. They're loitering in relevant position while I'm walking on the sidewalk. Security paving heavily documented. Heavily, and monitoring documentation and continuously engaging. That's an unlawful threat, and you want to go to federal prison with that government that's captured in thousands of videos. If not over up to 1,000 videos of stalking by plane and helicopter. Oh, and my podcast. I'm not even including my podcast documentation. That's how I started in 2019, capturing audio of it. That's how. It was the entity was the entity was stalking so much, and I started capturing audio of it, and then I just decided to create a podcast.
because you're going to document publicly an entity that's stalking you as a government. 5TSL044 through a people. 8NQN061 molesting. 9AKZ816 molesting. And the entity, that horn you hear sounding, is stalking with audible activity. Demons paying very attention to what I'm doing with my body, of my walking and my stopping. 7BYS032 molesting. License 8KLR816 molesting. 7LPN714 molesting. 8THB232 molesting. 8YJL815 molesting. Ontario Police. License plate 1591659. Later. All right, capturing video of what is directed light while Ontario police officer. This is a demon driving vehicle 1047, group stalking with the entity that's flying by helicopter. That's license 1614356. Yeah. And I'm showing you what is directed light while they're stalking. And again, this is the conduct of the entity that's listening to me document. So you have another demon that engages in the same. 7SVG907. They're doing so in the specific environment. That is impossible light activity. Also, you have what is the pattern. The entity following me from the Stater Brothers on Bonita back to the museum. 7CFX. I can't really see the rest of them. Back to the museum by helicopter. All right. Ontario is already heavily documented. The city of Ontario is heavily, heavily documented. This is not new. All right. You're talking about what is, they're going to federal prison. You're talking about what is the entity that's engaged in repeatedly kidnapping. And so I'm speaking to what is the heavily documented Ontario Police Department and the idiot that is, but what do? You're a puppet of Satan. Your whole system has been exposed. It was never designed to be. License plate, cannot see that. 6TCH688. Your whole system is exposed, and while you are very, very highly pissed off about that, you have what is then engaging in what is conduct that you're mad because you don't have the authority to engage in it anymore, because this is what this means. You don't have the authority to engage in this demonic activity anymore. And Satan never does. He doesn't have any authority. 6LUV662. Let me tell you the truth about that. Satan has no authority. 8NTR345. And in the reality, when I prosecute Satan and all of its minions, those minions in the courts that don't have any authority, 6KMC150, those minions in police vehicles that don't have any authority, 8NHR709, 8PDR279, I believe. You have what is, let me get this license plate, 8RJN463 and 8UOJ478, monitoring with the minions that are the Ontario Police, who are patrolling at this intersection when I show you what is all that directed light they're stalking. 5EWD332, and that's amplified audible activity in directed light, okay? It is 9:20.
Alrighty, it's currently 9:32 p.m. and I captured like 3 more videos right now because the entity is stalking. Let me get this demon that's coming here to touch me. This is sex offender. Oh no, come on. You came here to touch. Go ahead. Because I'm gonna prosecute you anyway, whether you come before or after. This is P.O.C. They're group stalking. Meeting at the intersection. They want to touch. License plate 9AEZ093. That's what they're doing. They're manifesting light. They want to touch on me, and where they're touching, you're touching my breast, you're touching my stomach, you're touching my thighs, you're touching all over my backside, and you're doing it with directed light while you are stalking with the government. Those same demons of the Ontario Police Department, stalking, hovering over every word that I say, hovering over every move that I make, including while my panties are down. That's why they're stalking the moment I step off the bus. That's why they're stalking the moment that I'm walking up the street at the Ontario Village. They're stalking the entire time. And then the more that I document, the more that those demons come out. They're like cockroaches. They were there the whole time. All right? You're talking about what is engaging in conduct of, again, the defiant. You can be as defiant as you want. That defiance is going to you're going to wind up in federal prison. You're done with law enforcement. You're already done. You're done with law enforcement. You are going to federal prison. All right? So like I said, that's what you're witnessing. You're talking about what are defiant minions who are hostile, both because I am revealing their secrets, and this is the fact of what is demon possession, and their criminal conduct. All right, that no one is supposed to know about. You're not supposed to know what's the significance of what they are doing with regard to what is light in their very presence. It's not what it is, what it looks like on the surface. It's actually criminal. All right, and not only that, it's demonic. All right, it's even deeper than that. It's demonic. And so you're talking about what is literally, you're just mad because you don't have any authority, and you don't. You have zero authority. And everything that you do is going to make it even that much more concentrated with regard to the ways that I'm going to crush you. All right, and I'm not playing with that. They're going to federal prison, and I'm going to crush every aspect of that system because what they're not going to do is they're not going to in any way impede upon an ordinary American citizen's ability to prosecute, because that's exactly what this is about. The government is going to be prosecuted. The government is going to cease engaging in this system. It's no longer a secret. It's no longer concealed. It's no longer even unknown the fact that you're a demon. That's a matter of public information that anyone can know about anybody. All right. And you're talking about what is also criminal. All right. So you don't get to you can serve Satan all day long, but you don't get to engage in surveillance while you're serving Satan, because that's what Satan is about. Satan wants to keep tabs on everybody and is using people and is present in the environment. All right. While telling you lies about things like global warming. That's a damn lie. They're lying to you. All right. Global warming has nothing to do with the fake sun remaining over a building, an address all day long, which is what my documentation is single-handedly revealing to you. While you have what is the government that's beyond a coincidence that's following me everywhere around in helicopters, what I'm telling you is the truth. I don't need to make up fables, okay? And I don't have time for those games. I did not go to college and law school to make this crap up. All right, you're talking about what I was subject to, and what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to prosecute. All right, and it is currently 9:35 p.m. and that's the entity following from place to place all day long. All right. Following relentlessly, listening to me sleep. That's how important I am to what is literally Satan. Satan is just present in the environment, and Satan is present through people using these puppets. All right, they're focused on me. All right, and that is the worst type of sex offender, and that is a sex offender in the police departments. That's a sex offender in the fire departments. That's a sex offender in the people of the state, and you name them, whether you know their name or not. All right, it does not change. I'm pretty sure I can speak for most people. If you're an adult, well, even if you're a child, but if you're an adult, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, they don't have any permission to know what's going on with you in a private space such as the bathroom or in your own apartment when you're walking around nude or doing whatever it is that you're doing, supposedly minding your own business. They don't have any business in that. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I am not providing that information. I am not interested in sharing that. And that is my private space. And you don't have any right or consent to be in it. And that's what the sex offenders, whose name I know have been doing for years. That's a very demented person. Very demented. Doing it in concert with those people, with people I don't even know. And the people that I do know, they don't even have consent to do that. You're a sex offender and I'm going to prosecute you uniformly. Okay? It's surgical. Okay, it's going to be just like every other minion because you're talking about what is the government. The government's using whoever it is that you know. The government is using every single last person subject to that prosecution the same. It's currently 9:36 p.m. and this is arrival to the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. And this is, yes, documentation of what is. Let me just remind you about this. Let's just take it out of the context of Fontana and the Ontario Police. Guess who's going to federal prison? Deputy Chapman and Marujo, whatever his name is. I captured him clearly on video. His name is very forgettable, but I'm not going to forget every detail of how I'm going to prosecute him. He's going to federal prison because this is the very system that he was engaging in when they were engaging in plain surveillance in plain sight under a fake sun that was in no way over that same venue at the intersection of 9th Street and Hellman, while I'm at already the on the bus route 61 going to Fontana today. That's not coexisting. And the entity stalking by helicopter just like it was while I just happened to be standing in front of them and the light source was directly over my head at an intersection that I have not been at. At the DMV, I haven't been there. At what point is the light source going over there and remaining over that parking lot capable of being seen over anybody's head at that venue at that time when it's remaining over me at the Fontana Lewis Library up until the time that the sun is setting, which is what I showed again today. This is stalking with a light source, and that's what Deputy Chapman and her partner were engaging in. That's why they hopped up out of that car, because I captured all that documentation. Satan got very, very afraid about that. And that translates into a threat. All right, law enforcement hopping up out of the vehicle. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're a stalker, and you're bearing weapons. You're monitoring me. All of that is a threat, and all of that is captured on video while they're in the specific environment, stalking by helicopter, stalking in relevant position, stalking with light, just like security paving was doing right now as I'm walking down the street. All right, so that's what this is going to, they're going to federal prison, okay? And that's exactly what I documented, and that's exactly what I told her, because that's exactly what's going to happen, all right? It's currently 9:38 p.m., and this is an entity stalking, obsessively stalking the one who was literally laying down the law, okay? And I don't mean to say, I'm not saying that as a matter of like, this is nothing that is flattering. It's nothing that I even signed up for. It's nothing that I asked for. But it's something that has been shown to me, and it is something that I see the resolution for, and it's something that I am going to make accessible for any person. And you don't have to have a law degree. You don't have to be some rocket scientist. What I'm showing you is common sense. All right, and guess what? The demons that I'm documenting, they know it's common sense too. They were hoping that no one would ever know. All right, and then enter in Erica Loren Spencer. Anyway, it's currently 9:39 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, it's currently 9:42 p.m. The people engaging in taking position at the end of the hallway where I'm sleeping. This is a stalker that's maintaining presence on behalf of the state, focused on me and stalking. That's exactly what the people are doing, and I did capture an image of that. This is a demon, and this is also what is a third party acting in concert with that state that I've heavily documented yet again on another day, stalking me where it is that I'm sleeping. An entire entity is stalking in that regard. It's currently 9:43 p.m. It's P.O.C. Okay, first of all, the people of the state, these are different demons. They're third parties, and they're demons, okay? And they are referred to as what is the people of the state, because the entity is going to be prosecuted for this. And you have what are the people of the state that are repeatedly stalking in the path. You have one demon after another just coming around, sitting around where I'm at. They're monitoring. Okay, I captured tons of pictures and I documented license plates, and so they're monitoring what I'm then going to publish on the internet. And this is the minion that you see sitting down, stalking in the path. And then you've got another female that comes up here, approaching me, speaking gibberish. Okay, everything that they're saying, it's not confusion as to who I am or what's going on, or they're stalking. They're in directed light, and they're present on behalf of the same government that's stalking by police and helicopter and airplanes. And the entity is monitoring by their presence. And so they are engaging in what this is obsessive stalking conduct. And that's what I captured in still images. And you have another one at approximately 11:50 p.m. This is this third party. He's a male, and he's engaging in what is harassment and engaging in this late night stalking conduct. This is entirely terrorizing, while they're also, again, additional context is that the fact that these aren't even normal people, which you know by the fact that they're stalking on behalf of the government. These are demons. All right. And they're stalking in the middle of the night, and they're engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking activity. And this is because I'm documenting so heavily. All right. So I'm documenting an entity. You're talking about what is that obsession, that maniacal rise in activity, that maniacal rise in that stalking activity as I am documenting and I'm prosecuting. And while I'm documenting, I'm telling you what's going to be the penalty. They're going to federal prison. All right, as I'm pointing out what's going to be policies that are surrounding them, you're talking about what is a reaction while these demons are coming onto the grounds of the museum to engage in stalking activity, to engage in what is harassment, to engage in what is additional terrorism. And I also want to document what will be seen on surveillance cameras at 11:59 p.m. Criminal summoning by the Ontario Police Department, the same demons that I captured in, I think, 3 or 4 videos, which I'll be publishing, they're still stalking, but I want to be clear, this is additional federal charge. They're engaging in criminal summoning, using their sirens, speeding by on Euclid Avenue in relevant position while they are on traffic cameras, doing so at specifically 11:59 p.m. That's criminal facilitation while they are ceaselessly stalking in Ontario, and they're doing so with the people of the state who are coming on the grounds of the museum to engage in stalking with the Ontario police, on behalf and in concert with the Ontario police, that is, and with the entity that is stalking by helicopter and airplanes. Okay, that's what they're doing. And so I want to document that, and this is ongoing harassment by this entity as I'm documenting it. And this is the character of what are psychopaths. This is the demon possessed. And they are demon. They have this spirit on them. This is demon possession, and this is the communication of that demonic hostility. As I am speaking to what the demonic are engaged in, the identification of the demonic in and of itself, but then also what are the penalties while they're engaging in this demonic activity, and they're monitoring. So I want to document that. That's harassment by an entity engaged in federal stalking, one demon after another, engaging in stalking where it is that this entire entity is stalking me where I sleep. This is stalking in relevant position. You're talking about what are facilitating venues with regard to what is stalking on behalf of a government. It's entirely unlawful. It's on behalf of the state. It is terrorism and harassment, while they're also hostile to documentation, which they're monitoring while I'm uploading it to the internet. And the entity engaging in by Ontario Police criminal summoning at 11:59, crossing path with lights and sirens. It's currently 12:03 a.m. P.O.C.